Oh. Such a good gamer, bro. What happens when you stop streaming? Hey, can do it. We'll do a quick react to Piers Morgan debate. I was been holding off because I was like, let me do like a. We're gonna do this debate react, and then we're gonna cover some of Insurrection. Play Insurrection. Just keeps getting better and better. Plus, it's so fresh. I couldn't wait. Had some time, and I couldn't wait until Wednesday. Jumped the gun a little bit. Eventually, we'll get there. I forgot which one this is. Oh yeah. Nope. Hey. Why is it the small one? Oh, because I was playing chess last time. I think we're gonna do chess today. Yeah, that's what we're. Why is it so large? I might just swap these, honestly. I think I need it again. Green. Yeah, I'll need to add another. We'll do it tomorrow. We only have a limited amount of time. I've been waiting to watch this. I think. Okay, I heard about it. That it was just basically a smackdown, but wasn't a very intellectual debate. TikTok people, so I'm excited for this. I hope it's a bull.
You're a Christian.
You say that. I haven't claimed that.
Oh, what is this? Is this Christians versus atheists?
I don't know.
You don't know where you are right now.
Don't be a smartass.
Well,
and I mean,
either you're a
The
Christian
thumbnail was getting me too.
Oh, either you're a Christian or you're not. Which one is it?
Danny, you were the smartass in the room, according to Jordan.
People can see the frustration that we have with Peterson. I would say that atheists are not the only ones that are frustrated. Christians are.
We have two gay
That is
atheists
actually
on the
true.
panel that have said that I
See,
bullied
like this
them.
kind of behavior. Look at this behavior.
It's called a joke,
Yeah,
sensitive
they're
man.
funny, Jay Dyer.
Oh my
It's a
God, look at this
homophobic joke.
behavior. This behavior is out of
You are
control.
two gay people.
It's too much behavior.
Wait, I'm sorry. I thought we're supposed to be loving to thy neighbor.
You don't know what loving means. You don't even know what that means.
Oh,
Let's not talk over each other.
No, let's Peters.
When 20 committed
Let's.
atheists recently took on Professor Jordan Peterson as part of GB's Surrounded series, it's fair to say it got quite intense, especially for Dr. Peterson. Two exchanges in particular took the internet by storm.
So do you believe in the all-knowing, all-powerful, all-good notion of God?
What do you mean by believe?
Do you think it to be true?
That's the circular definition. What do
I can't stand Jordan. Dude, new Jordan Peterson sucks, bro. What do you mean by? It depends on what you mean by I or you.
you mean
How
when
is
you
that
say you
circular?
believe?
How is that circular?
Because you added no content to the answer by substituting the word true and believe.
I said you think it to be true.
You're a Christian.
You say
This
that.
guy,
I haven't
dude.
claimed that.
Oh, what is this? Is this Christians versus
He's
atheists?
like a rabid dog.
I don't know.
You don't know where you are right now.
Don't be a smartass.
See, and I'm curious too. I was curious to know if I feel like they may have sort of set him up a little bit because I think the title was actually like 25 whatever versus a Christian or something like that when they first released it or pre-released it, and then they changed it or something.
Well,
And I'm
But I don't think he actually knew. I think he was there to just. I think it was supposed to be like Jordan Peterson versus atheists.
either
whatever.
you're a
because I
Christian
won't
or you're
talk
not.
to you if you're a smart.
I still haven't
Either-
had a
either
chance to
you're a
watch that
Christian
one.
or you're not. Which one is it?
Okay, so you're saying that you don't believe something if you wouldn't die for it?
Not really, no.
Okay. So then
How would you define belief? Something you say?
Can I explain? Like, I could believe it is the case that this pen exists, but if someone like threatened my life, right, I would lie in order to be able to save my life, right? Like, I think you would do that too. You wouldn't lie to save your
Don't be
life?
so sure.
You wouldn't lie to save your life?
I think everyone should look at the title of the YouTube channel. You're probably in the wrong YouTube video,
You're really quite something, you are.
aren't I? But you're really quite nothing, right? You're not a Christian.
Okay, I'm done with him.
I was actually I was pleased with that clip just because
Well, now.
a lot of
like in
stuff that
video, one of
Christians wanted to
Peterson's
say
young
to Jordan
inquisitors
Peterson that
posted
guy
on
just got to
X.
say first.
Peterson was no Christian. Let's move on. Are there any actual Christians that want to debate? Which is quite the challenge. But one that, of course, we on Uncensored are only too keen to facilitate. So making their uncensored debut from the Danny Phil Talk channel, Danny Shaw, and Parker from the Parker
So
Get a Job
good,
channel.
dude.
And we've arranged for them to take on two of the most notorious and fearsome debaters on the internet, who also happen to be conservative Christians. The king of blood sport debating, Andrew Wilson from The Crucible, and the equally forthright author, comedian, and commentator, Jay Dyer from the Jay Dyer channel. Welcome to all four of you.
From the day job.
Well, let me start with you, Parker. Were you surprised by the reaction to what went down with Jordan Peterson?
Actually, no. I was actually expecting this to happen, as I knew before this, as I watched the Alex O'Connor debate against Jordan Peterson, that he was very, very not likely to, like being associated with Christianity.
So they were just there
I
to
knew
clip
actually
farm.
going
They
into
were just
this that I
admitting
was
they were
going to
there to
ask
clip
him a
farm.
question specifically about whether or not he believes this to be the case, and that he would likely be
Which I think is
not
what
very
Jordan was crying
upfront with his
about.
answer. So I actually kind of expected there to be a response like this. Now, I didn't expect it to go as viral as it did.
When did they kill
as there
him?
are literally tens of millions of views on clips associated with mine and Danny's against Jordan Peterson all over social media. So it's actually really cool to see that, everyone across the board, whether it be Christians, atheists, Muslims, right, etc. Actually,
were
see
kinda
that, like,
happy.
he's really not wanting to answer the question. There,
They were
because he
kinda
doesn't wanna be
happy to
associated
see
with Christianity for some
Jordan
reason.
get trounced.
And,
Yeah, I don't know why he
and,
doesn't want to
Danny,
say.
I mean, you were the
stupid
smart
fence
ass in the
sitter.
room, according to Jordan. What's been your reaction to the fallout?
I'm generally happy that that people can see the frustration that we have with Peterson.
do
I
they
would say that
talk like-
atheists are not the only ones that are frustrated. Christians are, right? Here we have Peterson saying things like, "Yeah, I think Jesus might have resurrected, but I don't know what that means. Yeah, I might be a Christian in some sense. I'm a one of a kind Christian." It's all wishy-washy. We're all frustrated, and I think that the video is the culmination of that frustration.
Okay, well, the good news, like I told you, is we found two far from shy Christians to take you on in this arena. Andrew Wilson, let me start with you. What was your reaction to these two and their showdown with Jordan Peterson?
I mean, I kind of have to agree with Danny a little bit. Right? It's like, he, you know, like people have been wanting this guy to take the position on whether he's a Christian or not a Christian forever, on the right, the left, center, basically across the board. Now, I'll always be in some ways grateful to Jordan Peterson. He was one of the first who kind of started the trend of standing up to the pronouns people, which was pretty epic to watch. But, you know, ultimately, you know, he's kind of a shell of his former self. He didn't look great going through that debate. He looked kind of run down. I think that him being on with the Daily Wire probably hasn't been great for him. He's not he doesn't have the kind of edge that he used to have. But ultimately,
Depends on what you
I
mean
I
by
was actually
mean.
kind of glad to see it. You know, it's about time we know: are you or aren't you? You know, get off the shit or get off the pot. Essentially, right? Are you a
Bro.
Christian or aren't you a Christian? That's a fair question.
And Jay, I mean, ultimately, these two young men on the panel today, they're sworn atheists. You obviously are not. So if you were actually conducting a debate about their atheism against your Christianity, how would you take them on, given what happened to Jordan?
Well, it depends on what you mean, Pierce. Depends on what you mean. You know, how would I take them on? Well, I think there's a lot of different ways that you could critique an atheist position. Most of the time, I argue from the three branches of philosophy: epistemology, metaphysics, and ethics. Those are just the three branches of any worldview, and everybody has a worldview, whether they know it.
What Jay said.
So I would critique the foundations of the atheist materialist worldview to see if it's rational, if it's coherent, if it can provide a justification for knowledge or ethical oughts. So I think that would have been a much better route. In fact, Peterson used to kind of take that approach back when he debated Sam Harris. He would call out the is-ought problem with Sam Harris. When he debated Matt Dillahunty, he would call out the exact same types of preconditions for a worldview issue that I used to do, or I usually do. So I think that'd be a better route than just sort of having this ambiguous, Jungian position of non-committal, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I would say to you, Parker and Danny, that I've interviewed Jordan Peterson a lot, maybe 5-6 times.
One of my favorite thumbnails, actually. Where's the This is the most. Jordan B. Peterson. Dude, this thumbnail. Oh, this poor.
Emotional. He's an emotional guy. I would disagree with Andrew about him
The
losing his
mighty
edge.
have
I think
fallen.
he's still got the edge. I also think that, putting aside the whole debate about Christianity and whether he is or not, he's always been oddly ambiguous about it for someone who's so unambiguous about everything else. But that's his right. He's entitled to do that. As a force for good, though, for young men, I do think that in comparison, for example, to Andrew Tate, that Jordan Peterson has been a far better influence over the minds of young men of your kind of age than someone like Andrew Tate would ever be. Would you agree with that, Parker?
I actually would agree with that, although the bar is literally in hell.
Right. I mean, you must see some positives in the general messaging that Jordan gives to young men about wanting to improve their lives, wanting to empower themselves, opening up and so on. Do you accept that about him?
I think it's good to open up, and I think it's good for like men to like want to improve their lives, but we also need to be very specific on like what is improving towards their lives. And I honestly don't think that like Jordan Peterson, like within all respects, would be upholding that. But sure, I can say he's better than someone like Andrew Tate. Like I think that's pretty obvious.
Danny, what's your view of Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson when it comes to their influence on young men? Because it is huge.
Yeah,
we're both of them. I can tell you, when I walk around,
It depends, honestly.
Most people,
dude, if I had to pick between Jordan Peterson's current state, like, and Andrew Tate, I would probably have to choose Andrew Tate. Even though I disagree with everything else that Andrew Tate stands for, or does, or whatever, the methods to the madness, like at the very least, he's a more masculine figure.
Under 25 who are male come up and they ask me either about Andrew Tate or Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, I feel like the question is like asking a Republican, is Joe Biden better than like Mussolini, right? I mean, it's such a vast difference. I would say that it seems like that Jordan Peterson has benefited people, mostly in the psychology realm, like, the whole 12 rules for life and stuff, which a lot of those rules seems to be rules that my grandma could tell me. But granted, the point is that, yeah, he's probably helped
Where's
people.
your
I have no
book?
problem saying that.
All right, Andrew, let's turn to some other issues.
This
here.
guy have a
One
book
is
he might actually
Pride
have.
Month. Now, my view of this is I don't understand why we need a whole month for Pride. I don't even get an hour.
We need a
as
day
straight
for
guy.
Pride.
So why
Well, I mean,
why do we need a
yeah.
month for Pride? And it's not because I'm remotely homophobic, because I'm not. I'm the complete opposite. I've always absolutely supported gay rights. I just don't get why we need to have a month of Pride.
Oh yeah, dude, plug your creatine, dude. Yeah.
Well, Pride's always been completely astroturfed. I mean, to be honest, right from the very beginning, it's been astroturfed. It was always pumped full of government money, NGO funding. It was pumped full of corporate money. There was an article that came out, you can find in the Drudge Report, it came out today from, I believe it was Daily Telegram. It's pretty interesting. They went over, a lot of the modern Trump administration and what they have done with their executive orders. A lot of companies have begun moving away from trying to kind of fund this, and it hasn't been popular for the last couple of years anyway. There's been a lot of pushback on various large corporations, companies, and NGOs for trying to pump kind of artificially these organizations. One of the things that article points out, which I tend to agree with,
Current Peterson.
is
You think
that,
Current
hey,
Peterson
look,
is still better than Tate?
ultimately, when these companies are doing this, people lose trust for them. You remember there was a big thing with Target not that long ago. Anytime this comes to light, there's actually a backlash. People can kind of see that it's artificially held up. There's no reason for it. It's silly. It has never
Tate's
really
a
been about gay
scumbag,
rights. It's
What do you mean
about
there's no
weird-
reason for it? What do you mean?
it's
Well, I take that back. Yeah, because ultimately Tate is a homosexual. I always forget that. It's actually one of my favorite things to bring up to like the Tatesburgs, like the super diehard Andrew Tate fans. This guy's like bragging about, he goes and he brags on like some podcast about how he used to like message the men or the women because they didn't know how to talk to men or something. It's crazy. He's like, yeah, me and my brother, we unplugged their keyboards and then they were talking to ice cold hustlers. Like, I'm like, dude, that's gay, bro. You're saying that you literally were talking to men while they masturbated to completion, dude. That's fucking gay as shit, dude. You're gay for that, bro. So yeah, you're right. Jordan Peterson's probably better.
They're bullies like
Do
you.
you want me to answer?
right?
Do you want me to answer the question or no?
Yeah, you can go ahead, and I'll explain to you why I think there's a reason after.
Okay, yeah. So there's no real reason for it. It's been about pushing sexual perversion. It's never really been about anything to do with homosexuals themselves not having rights or having rights. It's never been about that. It's been about weird gay pride parades and all kinds of weird sexual stuff. It really has never been about that, and that's what the American people think. That's what they see. That's why you see companies moving away from it.
No,
I don't think that's true. Look, they're gay people like let's take you for example.
I love this because like you could tell these people have never actually had to argue this stuff like without a mute button, so they immediately get uncomfortable. They're like, I can't just press the red button. I'm gonna have to actually listen.
When I first talked to you, right, we were having a normal debate about I think morality, and then you randomly asked me, "What's your are you a homosexual?"
And you were right.
And then,
And you were right. But
and
hang on,
Jay Dyer's
was
done
I
the same
right
thing.
though? Was I right?
I'm not a homosexual. No, I'm married
You
to a
said that you were
woman. I'm
bisexual. You said that you were
Right.
bisexual. That's
Homosexual
That's
does
gay,
not
yeah.
count as bisexual.
There's
Maybe you can
certain
learn the
certain
definitions
ways.
of terms, but
Look,
the
there's
point
certain
that
ways that
people
people
like you and
conduct
Jay Dyer,
themselves.
people like you and Jay Dyer, bully LGBTQ people.
Oh, yeah, everyone's
That's why
bullied,
there's
yeah, I
pride
know.
because of the kind of stigmas that you promote.
No. We're bullying them now because we stopped bullying them and it got crazy. It literally got insane. You have like people walking around butt naked with like sex toys in front of children. Okay, so we realized like, oh, actually, yeah, we actually should have kept bullying you the whole time. And the bullying, the like acceptance and all this stuff doesn't actually change the unaliving rates. We'll keep it a little whatever for you. I don't even know what you can say. But yeah, it doesn't change the rates, dude. They're accepted. Rates are still the same.
Okay, so here's the thing that's so funny about this is like if both me and Jay Dyer, both of us assumed that you were a homosexual and both of us were right. That's what's so funny about it. We
Yeah,
both assumed you were
why are you saying I'm
gay,
homosexual?
and we were both correct that you were gay.
Andrew, is
So
there
the
anything
point is
wrong
that
with
we
him
were
being gay?
You go ahead, Parker.
Huh?
Is there anything wrong with him being gay?
There's a problem with you guys supporting NGO-funded kind of AstroTurf program to promote rights, which aren't even about promoting rights.
Was that a response to what he just said?
The whole ordeal here is, well, what's the prompt, Parker? The prompt is about pride, and so you're supporting an AstroTurfed, completely AstroTurf NGO-funded thing. It has nothing to do with gay rights at all, and people don't like it, Parker. They don't like it, Parker.
Well, Parker,
So
I would ask Parker this. Look, I mean, look, Andrew, you said some things which I
Parker.
completely disagree
Shut up,
with about
idiot.
this issue. You said women will never truly understand why men find homosexuality so depraved. We don't think there's a problem there. We know there's a problem there. I'm a man. I don't find homosexuality remotely depraved.
Oh, that's because you're kind of gay.
Sexuality is what it is. So I don't agree with you with some of the statements you've made. However, Parker, I am increasingly bemused.
No, I don't. I just don't believe people who. I don't believe men that say that. I don't believe most, like 90% of straight men when they say like, "Oh, it doesn't make me uncomfortable. I don't have any problem with." Yes, you do, dude. Yes, you do. We just need to be honest again. Like this. Let's be honest, okay? It's weird. It's creepy, okay? Now you can take a position and be like, yeah, I don't really mind, I guess, like if people like do whatever they're going to do in the privacy of their own homes or whatever. But we 100% should not be promoting any of it on any level. There shouldn't be any kind of celebration of it at all. Even from like a secular position. Like we're suffering from birth rates, we have all kinds of other issues. Like none of this is good for society to be promoting.
Why, when there are so many important things in the world to worry about, we devote a whole month
We got to make more
to
babies.
gay pride.
Not
Why do
promote.
we?
Almost.
There are plenty of things that we specifically have months for to celebrate that I think are incredibly important. This, in this specific example, is incredibly important because of the dehumanization and the bigotry espoused specifically by people like Jay Dyer and Andrew Wilson, and explicitly kicking people off of their panels because they're gay, right, or because they're homosexual.
When does that happen? I think both of them just kick people off because they have bad arguments.
Which I think is incredibly ridiculous.
But you know
right?
as well as I do, Parker,
Can I please finish?
if you
Can I please
compare
finish,
it,
Piers?
look, well, hang on, I'll say,
Can
if
I
you go
please
back
finish,
35,
Piers?
40 years,
Please
I
finish,
would
Piers?
completely agree with you. But the idea that that is still the case today, I just don't feel it. Do you? I mean, certainly
Piers,
young
have you
people,
never been on
young
Twitter?
people in particular do not.
Have you
it's
never
just
been on
usual.
Twitter?
Respectfully, how would you know as a straight person? Like, how would you, do you experience
Piers,
it?
look,
Why are you assuming my
I want
sexuality?
to talk about Piers. I want to talk about my
Because you
experience
talked
when I
about
went viral. Piers, when I
Talk
went
about
viral,
your
right, I had people
experience.
message, saying, calling me the F slur, saying I had a gay lisp, right? When I'm married
Hold
to
on.
a woman, right?
Hold on. Friends joining in here. You ready?
We got three in here now.
What?
Oh, you're them.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
like, oh, you got somebody else
No,
coming.
I'm just already
Oh.
live, so
All right.
we're like a third of the way
Oh,
into this
you're
thing.
watching this again? Oh wait, no.
Well, I haven't
watched
seen
one
it.
the other day.
Actually, I haven't actually seen it.
No, I thought you were watching a different one.
No, yeah, it's a different one. Yeah.
Throw it up in the chat,
Yeah,
bro.
baby. I think we just kind of got spicy too. It was a little boring there for a second.
With Lewis or with the
Just the intro just kind of dragged a little bit. Kind of like droning on. They're like being cordial first, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
You just gotta
even
skip through
ignoring
that.
wait, hold on. Even ignoring the gay Tate shit, Peterson gives genuine self-help. Yeah. I was saying earlier, I made a comment earlier that like it's possible I might actually promote, or if I had to like pick between the two, who's better for young men right now, I thought maybe Tate. Given Jordan Peterson's like current state,
Andrew
just
Tate?
the absolute state of Jordan Peterson. But then I kind of walked it back because I was like, actually, now that I think about it, he's
Early
probably
Peterson
he's yeah. Early Peterson's pretty base, but
No, man,
he's just
fuck
fallen
Andrew
so far.
Tate, bro. Well, people need David
He's
Goggins. They don't
so
need fucking Andrew Tate.
I know, but if I had to
Andrew
pick between
Tate
the
is
two,
like fucking budget David Goggins.
well, I was saying, have you ever seen the clip of him? Hold on, let me see if I can find this, dude. I know I have it actually. You know what?
But
This is
Andrew Tate can really fight, and he is really a good tactician. Like that, all that's real.
He's
just a
just. I
scumbag.
think the thing that gets me though is he's gay.
Yeah, he's like low key Metro and gay.
Well, he actually is like. I mean, in
Wait,
my
what?
opinion. Hold on. Let me give you
Oh,
the
yeah,
context first. Yeah, hold on. I should have this ready to go. This is one of my favorites. It's a clip of him like bragging about being gay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any trouble believing it.
Setting.
He's like that fucking guy in Game
Let me
of
see if I
Thrones.
can. I think see if I can open it in here. I think I can open it in a browser. Link.
Like he understands masculinity. He understands strategy. He's self-indulgent. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. What just happened, dude? Oh, there we go. I don't know if it'll let me open it in like a browser though. Play it.
A moose on it. So I'm trying to teach these women, and the women kept fucking it up. So I said to them, it's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm taking over. So what I did is I unplugged their keyboards and plugged a new one in from me behind the screen. So the chicks would sit there and hit a keyboard that wasn't plugged in. And me and my brother.
Am I supposed to press play on that?
Yeah, just press. Yeah, hold on. Just press play on it. We'll watch it at the same time. I'll post it. I'll pull it up somehow in a second.
Yeah, I'll just wait.
Actually, let me see if I can pull it up like on YouTube. I feel like I'm not the only one. It won't let me pull it up in the browser window. Let's see.
Bro, you watch whatever? What are you, like a misogynist?
Yes, and God, he's so gay. God, I want to find this clip, dude. My favorite. I'm pretty sure I've shared it on. I don't know how to like pop this screen out. Yeah, let me do it this way. Well, no, that's still not gonna work. Need to upload it. Here, we'll do it like you can watch it. Preview.
Wait, can you still hear me? Okay.
Yes,
I didn't realize this, but my son chewed through my mic. The plastic part of my mic that comes down. He chewed
There.
through it, and I just felt the place where he chewed through.
All right, I
But
got it. I got
I
it
was
pulled
like,
up
oh
now.
my god, did I just break it? But I guess he didn't get to the wire.
All right, can you see this now? Should be able to.
Yeah, go ahead.
A moose on it. So I'm trying to teach these women, and the women kept fucking it up. So I said to them, it's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm taking over. So what I did is I unplugged their keyboards and plugged a new one in from me behind the screen. So the chicks would sit there and hit a keyboard that wasn't plugged in. And me and my brother, and eventually some staff I trained, would do all the talking. The girls were just pure, just famoosers, just laughing.
I know.
Doing this.
I know about this.
The titties out. And they were talking to fucking ice cold
hustlers, dude.
So I'm trying to teach.
Like, dude, that's gay. You're gay. You're so gay for that. You're just admitting that you were talking to men while they were like beating off in a room to these topless girls. Like, that's so gay. You can't take that back, dude. Like, you sexted men while they like beat off to completion, dude. That's about as gay as it fucking gets.
You're really gay. Yeah.
You can't take that back, dude. Anyways.
Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. That's a classic take. One of my favorites. Be an ass because he knows it. Turd. Just ripping things. Is it unhealthy to declaw cats? I mean, no, it's not good for him. He's a menace. Problem. I want to play this again. I don't want to get through this because I want to get some of these protests.
That is the order that has been given. These officers are making sure that they do it as quickly and
I'm about to crash everything. Yeah, I forgot about the MLM thing. Crazy.
Right? If I'm
Yeah, maybe that's what I thought. Thought it was kind of bad for him. I'll just have to clip him, dude. He's a menace, destroying things. Trying to get back. Hey, hurry up.
I'm not even a homosexual, and if people are bullying me for that, I can't imagine what actual homosexuals have to go through. So
It's
What
just
do
the
you
same
think? If you
thing.
don't mind me
It's
asking,
nothing
given it's now
different. It's
been
just the same
sort of
thing.
raised, and I'm not quite sure, are you straight? Are you bisexual?
And honestly, like, I don't think it's to the point where, like, I don't think anybody needs to go out of their way to, like, just bully people because of that. Like, honestly, like, the Christian perspective or whatever is going to be, obviously, you want them to repent and leave their sin behind. You know, obviously, that's the best solution. But if they're going to stay that way and they're going to celebrate it, and you're gonna and it's not like, it's not just a celebrate, it's like a celebration and a kind of like, it's like a put down of, that's why all these other terms come from, like the cisgender and all this, you know, calling people cis het white male, all this nonsense. It's just like you want to otherize. It's like a get back. It's not actually like a let's celebrate what I am or whatever. It's I want to be above you. That's what it ends up being. That's what it's ended up being, anyways. So they don't want to stop at let's celebrate ourselves or let's be proud of be who are. It's let's be proud, and then you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. It's obviously not good for society at all.
I'm bisexual. I've been married to a woman happily for 5 years, and we're monogamous.
Okay.
Two gaytheists. I want to chime in. We have two gaytheists on the panel that have said that I've bullied them.
See, like this kind of behavior. Look at this behavior.
That's called a joke. That's called a joke, sensitive man.
So funny, J Diary.
Oh my God! Look at this behavior. This behavior is out of
you
control.
are two gaytheists.
It's too much behavior.
Wait, I'm sorry. Hold up. Are you guys Christians? I thought we were supposed to be loving to thy neighbor.
This is always the trope. Like, Christ didn't meet people where they were at and accept them as they are. He did, in the sense he accepted them as they were, as so long as they're going to enter into repentance and leave and leave their sins behind. So it wasn't like we should just love me continuing to do the sins forever and ever. No, that's not what he said. You know, he made a point to be preaching to leave the sin behind and not continue to live in sin. So it's always such a misconception, especially of the more Protestant lens, that we're just supposed to accept everybody can just come on in and you don't actually have to stop doing what you're doing. You just have to feel sorry for it once a week or something, every Sunday. Just come in and be like, okay, my bad. I've been gay all week. I've been doing sodomy all week. I need to repent now for my sin.
Didn't do it this morning though.
Yeah. This morning I was clean. Yeah, you missed a little bit. I'll go back because that was pretty funny.
I get it. Don't go back.
It's 27.
I don't
pretty
understand,
good.
bro.
We're pretty good.
Sexual, and if people are bullying me for that, I can't imagine what actual.
I already know this is going to be retarded.
So,
What is, if you don't mind me asking, given it's now been sort of raised, and I'm not quite sure, are you straight? Are you bisexual? What's the
I'm
deal?
bisexual. I've been married to a woman happily for 5 years, and we're monogamous.
Okay. All right.
Two gaytheists. I want to chime in. We have two gaytheists on the
You're not
panel
bisexual, you retard.
See, like this kind of behavior. Look at this behavior.
You're married.
That's called a joke.
But he has to. That's the thing. They have to say that because it's like a bet. It's like the mafia, dude. Once you join the Skittles, stuff, you can't just leave it, dude. You have to be a proponent forever. Or if you leave, they're gonna fucking destroy you. They'll literally destroy your life. You look at the people who have detransitioned. They're
But look at him, dude.
doxed and swatted and true.
Look at how much better he is than us.
That's
It's
true.
just- I
Yeah,
can't
he's
even
got
process it.
He's got books
Am
on
I
his
looking
shelf.
at God right now?
He's got books, dude. I have books, but they're fiction. That's actually my wife's shelf. So there's actually Harry Potter and Twilight.
Joke, sensitive man.
So funny, J Diary.
Oh my
It's a
God! Look at this
homophobic show.
behavior. This behavior is
This
out
guy-
of
You are
control.
two gaytheists.
It's too
so
much
it's
behavior.
pretty
Bad
good.
behavior.
I'm sorry. Hold up. Are you guys Christians? I thought we were supposed to be loving to thy neighbor.
Yeah, well,
the only
love
thing-
also includes
but-
telling you when it's wrong.
Oh,
Don't
yeah,
you love
it's
trans
all
people, Parker? You said that you would date a trans person. Remember that? Or was
Yeah,
it-
and what's wrong with that?
I think that
What's
you're
wrong
more,
with
I
that?
guess you are more loving than me than Parker. I wouldn't date a trans person. But
Okay,
hey,
but, okay,
he's
is
right.
that supposed to be
Two
like a
gays.
critique of me?
So the problem is that
Loving.
these guys
I
can't
asked
give an
you as
account
Christians.
for the
I called
good.
for you as Christians to be loving.
All they've
and both
talked
of you did
about
not
is
show
what's
loving.
right
You
and
just
You don't
showed
know what
being-
loving
you just showed
means.
being
You don't even know what
bigoted.
that
They
means.
can't
All right,
give
let's
an
not,
account
let's not
for
talk over each other because no one can overhear. Jay.
Yeah. So earlier in the first section, we talked about Peterson. We were talking about what was good for men
Yeah.
and whether Tate was good or Peterson was good. And now we're talking about ethics in the sexual domain, which there's no basis in their worldview for anything to be morally,
What's the argument for
objectively
that?
right or wrong, other
Why
than
would
the
Dude, hold on. I think one of my cats is. Johnny's stuck in a well. What is happening? Where's your.
I have to call the fire department, bro. That's the only way to save the cat.
Idiot. thought one of my cats was. One of them was
All right, I
just
called the fire department.
Passing out, dude. Fucking idiots, dude. It's like they know I'm streaming, so they're just gonna act up, dude. Everyone knows I love Twilight. Look, I was in like middle school or something. Actually, you know what? I didn't read them, but I did watch the movies. And you just picked a side. You know what I mean? That was Team Jacob. All right. Say it.
References. So if there
Werewolves
are,
are cool.
if there's nothing
Vampires are
objectively
You're just
wrong,
making a claim.
there's no reason why bigotry is wrong.
You're just
Why
making
is
a
bigotry
claim.
wrong?
Well, I want
Whoa,
support your
okay.
claim. Don't run from your claim. Support it. Right? We have no. But you're saying we as atheists have no basis of morality. Support that.
Yeah, no epistemic basis for getting an ought from an is.
Yeah, that's a claim. Okay. Well, you're saying atheists.
No, it's an
can't
argument.
account
It's a
for
famous
morality,
argument.
right? You're saying that atheists can't account for morality. So what's the argument for that?
You just gave it.
You can't get an ought from an is the argument. Back to Hume.
It looks like you don't know what an argument is. Come on, reason. Try to go from one line of reasoning to
Oh
another.
my god!
Do you know what an argument
You
is?
cannot get an ought from an is. You're an atheist.
That's
In
just
a
a-
materialistic
okay, but what does that
worldview,
have to
there's
do
How
no
with
can you
oughts.
just? How do you just like?
What does that have to do with
not even
atheism?
In a
actually deal with that?
materialistic,
It's so
atheistic
stupid.
worldview, there are no oughts.
First of all, I'm not a
You
materialist.
don't know the
and-
basic problem
and that's
of
just
ought
another
from is?
claim. That's just
It's
another
not a
claim.
claim,
Can
it's
you
an
support
argument.
your
It's a
claim?
famous historical.
Look,
You don't know
you're
the
just
difference
a
between a
coward.
claim
You
and an
made a
argument.
claim. You can't defend it.
It's
Yeah,
an
thanks,
argument.
man.
It goes back to David Hume.
He
Well,
tells
it's
what
You
an
don't know.
argument
You
is.
didn't even know that.
Right?
You don't know
Look,
the difference
everyone,
between.
look what just happened. Look what just happened. This guy said.
Just
Oh,
what just
yeah,
happened
and
is that
that's
you didn't know the
getting
difference between an argument and a
Why are you
claim.
over talking to me? Why are you scared? Let me talk, right? You just claimed that atheists
Talking
don't have
to
a
you.
foundation of morality. I asked you to defend it, and then you said
me
you can't
talk.
get an offer from it is. What the heck?
That's
Like,
the argument. That's
what are you
correct.
going to
It's
get from
called
that
an
premise,
argument.
right?
Deal with the
You can't
argument,
derive
It's
you
an
that.
dork.
argument. It's not a premise. It goes back to
He's like,
David.
I know, like he's like, yeah, well,
What
give
do
me,
you
yeah,
mean?
well, give me an argument, man. And then he gives him an argument. He's like, well,
You just didn't know that.
Okay, can we get? I
Wasn't
think
it
we're
a
going,
pretty
guys.
good
I
answer?
think
I'm
we're
sorry
moving
that you don't
slightly
know.
off topic. Let's bring it back to Pride Month. I want to play something which has had a lot of people talking on social media. This is Sesame
true,
Street,
Lewis.
where all the puppets
I had to
holding
pick the
hands,
werewolf.
making up the Pride flag.
Yeah, this was
And they
actually
say,
kind
"On
of
our street,
crazy.
Everyone is welcome. Together, let's build a world where every person and family feels loved and respected for who they are. Happy Pride Month."
See, that's why I'm okay with reverting back a little bit. We need to regress a little bit and actually bully these people again, because there's no reason that a show marketed to like toddlers needs to have. They don't need to know anything about people's sexual orientations. What kind of degeneracy adults like to get into.
I guess
It's
I
just
would say,
not
Parker,
relevant
again,
to Sesame
The
Street.
problem with this is it's this kind of
Just hope-
enforced.
That whatever the left thought Trump was gonna do, like the worst of it, I just hope it's so much worse.
I know, like
All I want for Christmas is a real tyrant.
you got everyone on the right is like everyone on the left is, oh, Trump is a fascist, a dictator, blah blah blah, and everyone on the right is like,
Please.
I wish, please, like, can we please whip this shit back into shape, dude?
Virtue signaling. It reminds me, in a way, for very different reasons, the day
Look
in
at
the
the head
George
shakes.
Floyd
I know.
fallout,
It gets
when
better,
everyone
too.
do a black square on their Instagram.
They start
or
doing
somehow
like
they
the
were racist.
hand
And
covering,
obviously
like
it's
the
Faces get
yeah.
smug.
racist.
And it's a thing. I actually
Body
brought this
language,
up.
bro.
I actually brought this up whenever I was on Tim Pool. I was trying to get into it a little bit more, but this whole social media, especially TikTok, has just, it's like meant to effeminize like men. I don't know. Maybe it's not meant to do that, but as a result of the platform being dominated by women and like oriented to all the content is like clearly oriented towards women through the algorithm to keep women engaged with the platform, that all the men that get popular have to become like more effeminate to like
think
be
in general,
pleasing to
femininity-
these women or whatever. I don't know. It's weird. It seems like all the
General,
guys
like,
that come from
outside
TikTok
of-
are like this.
Outside of TikTok, even, I mean, femininity is being pushed
Yeah.
really hard everywhere. For in a way that's not necessarily like
It's not
rational.
organic or normal at
It's like
all.
it's just being pushed because misandry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's,
because
I
you
think
have-
TikTok's definitely one of those places.
Yeah, because you need to like tone down your whatever, your mansplaining. You need to close your legs on the subway. Like spreading.
No.
Yeah, it's like you have to raise the pitch of your voice. You can't talk in a deeper voice. Like you can't raise your voice too much. Like you have to like softly, tiptoe around.
Speaking
and
of that, I know
fucking, hey,
this
dude,
really, dude. Let me just aside for a minute. I know somebody IRL. Honestly, like outside of the cultural political stuff that I know is under the surface, he's a nice guy, okay? But he's like a man bunner, and he does all the things that you just talked about, and it is so cringe. Like he literally like talks up. He talks with a fake
Oh,
voice.
like the
I
up,
mean, all the time.
the up thing at the end or whatever, like the whatever you
Like
call it.
talking up. Yeah, talking up. Talking like he's talking
It's
to
like,
a kindergartner
like at
everywhere
the-
he goes.
raising the pitch
Bro,
at the end of each
it's
note,
so
end of each
weird.
sentence.
Like, dude, just talk in your normal voice. It's okay. Stop it. Get some help.
Stop it. Get some help. How's a girl boss supposed to girl boss if there's a man in the room? Yeah, that's true, Lewis. You make a good point.
You're not
Never
supposed
mind.
to girl boss. You're supposed
Everyone
to
keep.
girl boss.
Yeah. Everyone, I take it back. Everybody just keep doing. We're not thinking about the girl.
I went, why does putting a black square on my Instagram make any difference to anything? Again, with this, if you don't go along with the Pride Month stuff, then somehow you must be homophobic, is the kind of way this all seems to work. And I don't like that. I don't understand why we have to have any more these enforced things.
It also like it also just it's the same thing that's happened with every other all the icks and the isms and the ists and the it just the word carries no weight anymore. Nobody actually cares. And we're just like, okay,
Look
yeah,
at their faces, bro.
sure, I'm a
You
homophobe,
know.
dude, whatever.
You
Yeah,
know
dude.
some retarded shit is about to come out of those faces.
Where everywhere you
Ugh.
go for a whole month, everything's Pride. Why? Why can't you everyone just get on with their lives?
Yeah, dude, chill for us,
Studies
Piers.
show that strength training burns more fat than cardio alone. In this program, and use promo
I just
code
chugged some
PIERS,
creatine
PIERS,
powder.
for your discount. That's
Here's Morgan.
getjackedup.com.
Get jacked.
Get
with
jacked
Piers.
up.com with Piers.
A way that I
Yeah,
would
dude.
respond to this is by saying that because of the bigotry and dehumanization that exists in our society, it's important to have these things for acceptance to decrease the level of bullying that exists in our society, targeted towards
Why?
the LGBTQ plus community.
That's
Now,
not
no
gonna
one's
work.
Why
saying
do
you
we
have to go
need to
Pride Piers.
decrease
No
the
one's saying that you have
bullying
to involve yourself with Pride.
towards
When I
anybody?
go outside, I live in Los Angeles. I don't see rainbow flags everywhere. So I'm confused what you're talking
Los
about.
Angeles?
I do. Hell yeah, he's such a liar, dude. Well, first of all, I haven't been to LA, but I've been to like less gay cities, okay, that are still just as gay. Like I was just in Chicago and DC around the airports, and the airports are like bad houses. There's shit all over the place. There's rainbow flags fucking everywhere on every airline. What is he talking about? It's got to
He
be
wants
worse
to
in
see 'em.
LA.
He wants to see him. So, of course, he's not going to care when they're up because he wants to see him.
Yeah, I don't think
he
he
doesn't
sees
care
it the
if they're in
same way.
kindergarten class or whatever. Yeah, he doesn't care.
Well, yeah, it doesn't, but I don't think it registers for them. You know what I mean? Because they're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this is.
This is.
It's like when we
normal.
when we see a cross or something. It's like I probably don't pay it as much attention, but I've seen like especially when I was out in when I was in DC and Chicago and stuff like that. You know, just like walking through the airports and stuff. Every once in a while, you'll catch somebody like staring at your like I'm wearing my cross necklace, whatever. You could just tell, you could feel the hate, dude. They're like, oh, this fucking piece of shit. I'm just like, fuck you guys, dude. And all your rainbow flags, dude.
Walk down the street and just,
You must be joking, but you can barely move in Los
I live in Los
Angeles.
Angeles.
I've got a house in Beverly Hills. You may as well put a pride flag over the whole place.
I'm sorry. I've been to those areas, and the flags aren't everywhere. And one, you live in Beverly Hills, right? That's specifically like not even
Look at
right
his
next
face.
to
He's
downtown.
like, I know I'm
That's
wrong.
like,
most
yeah.
of the rainbow flags would be.
But here's my
LA
point.
recently.
Here's my serious point to you. If you actually want to do something constructive, for,
The
say,
little
trans
gay
community,
smirk, like he knows he's there.
wandering
to just-
around with LGBTQ+,
He's gotta
and
get
no
his
one can ever
clips,
remember
dude.
now how many.
He's probably in a Discord right now too. Parker and them are like notorious for like, they're like constantly. They don't go on shows without help from each. Parker, Dean, and like there's like 4 or 5 of them that are always like
Okay, hold
they've
on.
been caught
so
like a couple times.
I don't know any of these losers. So
Parker,
who's the short-haired guy? Parker, and
yeah,
who's the
that's
long-haired
Parker. The long-haired guy is fuck, I don't remember. They were both on Jubilee.
Okay.
This guy I don't know as much about, but apparently, so he got that clip on Jordan Peterson where he's like, "Well, apparently you're not much of anything," or like, you know, where because he's calling Jordan Peterson out for like basically sitting on the fence.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
But the funny thing about that,
Google it.
well, the funny thing about
leftists say.
Chat GPT it, dude. But the funny thing about this guy is that in that clip, it was billed as like this guy is a college kid or something like that. I heard Andrew talking about it after. I don't know if he calls him out here, he might. But this guy was billed as like another college kid, but this dude's like in his 30s or something, and he's like got a master's in psychology or something like that, and like so he's like he's not just another teenage kid, like he's like working on a PhD, or he just has a young look to him, so he fit right in it, and then they build it. You know what I mean? You know how Jubilee's going to sell the clip. They're going to be like, college kid wrecks Jordan Peterson, destroys. Right. They're not going to say that part. But
wait.
so.
I want to be here 5 years from now when he's on Dave Ramsey complaining about student loan debt.
Yeah, true. My wife told me about being in college, and she said one of the scariest parts about being in college there was when they were doing something where like they bring in alumni and the alumni talk, you know, and they talk about whatever and the school or something else, right? And the tuition there is like really high, and she's in like the end of her first year or the beginning of her second year or something like that. And this guy's like 60 years old, and he's talking about whatever, and he's all like, yeah, and I just paid off my student loans. He's like 65. And they were like, she was saying like nobody really knew what to do. Like they should like clap or something. Cause like most of them were real, like the gears were turning, and they were like, oh shit, that's going to be us. Like,
yeah, no,
we're going to be paying off these student loans till they're 65.
My wife showed me one the other day. These people were $600,000 in debt, and they're calling Dave to try and get out of it. And like, the minute they said, she was like, do we have this much debt? Like, what's going? How did these people get so much debt? I'm like, baby, did you hear those key words? Advanced degrees. That means they went to school for some stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
And now they're fucked. They had like $335,000 in student loan debt. I'm just like, dude,
that's cool.
You know, Dave, you needed Dave 8 years ago.
Yeah. Besides the indoctrination garbage, like we're not pushing them into college. We'll be happy if they go, but it's going to be like, look, if you want to take like a year or two, we're going to encourage them to do like trades first. Like, let's find a trade you like, something where you can start to make some money. You work a year or two. You say, actually, you know what? I'm really into like this thing. I would like to go to school for this. Okay, then we'll help you go to school. We're definitely not like doing trades like welding or electrical or like automotive even. Yeah, business, start a business.
Like trade and business. Like, I know somebody who is really good. I mean, this guy could do fucking anything. Like, he could be a contractor in almost any area of construction, but he doesn't know anything about money. He's scared of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I can't even, like, when I hire him for stuff, it's super awkward when I try to like pay him, and he always fucking lowballs himself, and I'm like, dude, like, stop.
Let me help me help you.
Yeah, like
take my money.
You know, but like, so don't just send him to school for trade.
Yeah.
Send him to school for trade and teach him about fucking business. Teach him how to get comfortable negotiating for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd rather spend I'd rather like dump $50,000 into like my child's startup and have it fail than I would, you know, send them to school knowing they're going to be in debt for the rest. Possibly. pay it off. Like, fuck it, dude.
Letters and digits there are on these.
You just said it.
It gets but it gets bigger and bigger. And I've seen one with 2 in it and all sorts of stuff, a 2-spirit, whatever. It's all.
What? What'd you say?
Nothing.
Oh.
All it is IA plus.
Yeah, I know, but then
That's
there's
it.
2 and everything. It gets ridiculous, right? And
All it is IA plus. It was just LB, dude. It was just or LG, dude. Then it was LGB, and then it was LGBT, LGBTQ, LGBTQIA plus LGTV. Like, dude, stop. Oh, all it is, we're just gonna add 6 more letters this year.
It's never ending. It's like there were 2 genders, then there were 10, then there were 80, then there were 100.
Pierce stole
all
my
of it's
ideas.
nonsense to me. However,
it wasn't like this,
however,
then that,
if you
but-
want to think that, it's a free world. Here's my point. If you actually want to make a
free
constructive
world,
difference to, say,
That's the
trans
Teach him how to skin a deer and flay a fish.
trans
Yeah, we're gonna
rights and
we're gonna
protect
do lots of
trans
fishing and
people,
hunting.
then the absolute worst way to go about that is the way that the trans lobby has tried to do it, by eroding women's rights in things like women's sport. That has exposed so many trans people to mockery, abuse, and the rest of it. And I would say that rather than spending all this time and effort,
Yeah, that's a
and money
part of it. That makes me
on
want to bully
flags in
them
Pride Month,
for sure.
what about just actually getting people together to understand that eroding women's rights?
Really, the
is
T was
worst
on there since the
possible thing
90s?
to promote trans rights.
Kind of
Would you accept
surprising.
that?
Okay, so then if we were going to be talking about eroding women's rights, we'd have to talk about people that, someone like Andrew Wilson supports, like Donald Trump, who was held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman, who bragged about
Well,
walking
hang on,
the
let's
changing
take-
rooms.
let's take
Wait,
some
Civilly
hold on,
liable.
Let me, I promise you I'm making a point relative to this.
All right.
He
You're not.
bragged
Go
about
ahead.
Bad. Smoky man, bad. Smoky man,
bragged-
bad.
You're very childish. He bragged about
All
walking
you
into the
can all
changing
you can do
rooms.
is focus on me. You can't even answer to his question, dude. He's just.
I'm
but
promise
Andrew
you I'm
Wilson,
answering it right now.
bad.
You're cutting me off.
But Smoky man, bad.
You're cutting me off. I'm trying to answer it
bad.
right
Walker, nobody cares. That's the point.
You kind of have been
Without-
whining.
Without distracting into Trump and stuff. Just answer the question.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
giving
Parker,
an
you little
explanation, right?
shit.
So he bragged about walking into the changing rooms of girls and misdemeanor stations, owns the place to inspect them
All right,
without their
forget
consent.
Trump.
That's-
Forget Trump.
I promise you I'm making a point here. Would you like me
You
to
have to
finish,
get to the
please?
point a bit quicker.
You're
Come
not
on.
making a point. Parker. I just wanna let you
I've
talk.
had 15 seconds. Okay, so specifically, right?
Even Pierce
people like
is
Andrew
over
Wilson
it,
do
dude.
not call that type of stuff
He's
out
like,
when it's
okay, yeah,
explicitly
just
harmful
do
towards
your
women's
thing.
You're
rights.
playing
Right, trans
whataboutery.
people
I'm not
being-
interested in whataboutery.
trans-
Because I haven't done that.
Smoky man, bad.
As somebody
Look at
like
his
me,
smile, he's like, I'm
talk
getting
to me,
cooked.
right?
Oh,
As
God.
somebody who has
I'm
always
losing.
supported
I was going to refer to
As
trans
someone
people.
who's
You're not
always
allowing me to
supported
speak.
I was gonna
trans
say something else. I was gonna say
people's
something else, I
rights
promise.
to-
Disingenuous.
Well, I have always supported trans people's rights to fairness, equality.
Why is he
and safety.
shaking so much? Dude,
Right
like
to
I
the
feel like
point
I have
that
like
it began
restless
to erode
legs.
into women's
Like,
rights
I'm
to the
always
same
like
thing.
shaking my
And
legs.
that's
I
my
don't,
point
I
to
don't feel
you.
like I'm that
Why
bad, dude.
waste all this
That's
time,
crazy.
effort, and money on virtue signaling for Pride
peacocking is
Month, when in
insane.
fact there's a real problem going on which remains unresolved because too many people on the left and too many young people go along with this absolute farce of trans athletes in women's
Farce.
sport, which exposes trans people around the world to extra mockery and abuse.
But you'll
So you're
consider
saying the
mockery and
you
abuse
said-
from people like Jay Dyer, and these
All
are the
he has
mockers.
is ad hominem.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
it's
I'm
not
saying
real
you're
people.
going to
It's
get
people we
you're going to
disagree
get the
with, so they
mockery
don't
when there
count.
is something so obviously grotesquely unfair.
He's raising his
Parker, you got your hand
hand.
up very politely, so answer me. Without
Yeah,
mentioning
so,
Donald Trump or Andrew Wilson.
Yeah, okay, so I can't mention the person, but specifically
No.
in terms of trans people are not specifically going to be harmful towards women in these
Like,
particular
no, this
spaces, given that they've met the conditions of multiple years of HRT.
Have
They're
been
not gonna
following
be
it?
harmful.
Oh
Okay,
my
sorry,
gosh,
hang on,
dude.
hang on.
Please let me
No,
finish.
Parker, you
No,
can't
you
make it.
finish.
Parker,
I got
Parker,
you.
Yeah, except for that
Parker,
Olympic athlete
literally
that's
as
literally
you
a
said,
dude.
You
Now
got
that's all
him
said
mute
and
button.
done.
It's been
I'm
revealed
finishing, Piers.
today.
Piers, I'm trying to
Wait a
explain.
minute.
I'm trying to explain, Piers.
You talked about safety.
This is disingenuous.
Literally today,
It's
the
disingenuous.
Algerian gold medal winner in the Paris
haven't been able to
Olympics
speak.
women's boxing has been
Piers, can I
revealed
speak?
to
Suck,
be a
Parker.
man who should never have been competing.
Piers, can I speak?
That's
Piers,
fine.
I know how
Pierce.
people feel
Can
when
I
they're on your
speak?
page and you mute
Can I
them,
speak
Parker.
without interruption,
That's what I'm
please?
gonna say
All
when I
right,
get
answer.
dunked on
Yeah, they
Twitter.
can't. They
Pierce,
can't do
Pierce,
it without.
Pierce.
They can't do it without the mute button. I get so mad.
Next time I get racial on Twitter, I'm just gonna start saying Pierce, Pierce,
Pierce, just Pierce, Pierce. Please, can I finish my
Pierce,
point?
Pierce.
Actually,
Yeah.
I've been incredibly nice on this panel. I would love to be able to speak without interruption. Is that okay, Piers?
Yes.
Stop talking
Nobody
over the
cares,
debate.
Parker.
Listen, dude. I'm giving my commentary.
But answer my question.
Yeah, I was trying to
Stop
answer the question.
talking.
You cut me off. So specifically,
Yeah, I mean, my bad, dude. Let me just rip Andrew and Piers Morgan's content completely. I just let you watch.
I don't think
that
trans
says
people in these
Seaburn.
spaces would be
Are you
harmful after
Seaburn?
multiple years of HRT and or not going through a male puberty, as I've seen no good evidence from any scientific studies that indicate that there would be an unfair biological advantage
Imam
at that
Khalif,
point.
what are you
Not to say,
talking
listen,
about, man?
listen. I'm still
I
explaining.
said that already,
You're
Piers.
talking complete gibberish,
Can
man.
I please finish?
Imam Khalif has literally just been exposed as a biological male who won Olympic
Literally.
gold in women's boxing and beat up an Italian boxer, woman, so badly she quit in 43 seconds and said she thought she was going to die in the ring. So the whole argument you just put forward is literally disproved by a news story today. That's the point I was making to you. Of
Piers,
course
have
it's
they got-
dangerous.
Piers,
When you allow
Piers, have they-
biological men to get in a boxing ring and beat up women, it is dangerous.
Piers, has that
Imagine
person been
getting
through
wrecked
multiple
by
years of
Piers like
HRT?
that.
I don't know. I don't care.
Then they haven't
That
met my set
person
of
is a
criteria.
man.
What the? That it's literally, this is like always the leftist argument. It's just like, well, but they have it hasn't been tried yet. They're not doing it the right way. Communism could work, but it hasn't been tried yet. They didn't do it. The Soviets didn't do it the right way. That wasn't real communism.
So how is that a critique of my worldview if they haven't met the set of criteria that I mentioned? Can I please finish? Can I please mention? Right. So again, let me please finish. Right. I am saying if they meet this set of criteria, then they can play, and there's nothing unfair biologically
Yes, there
speaking that you
is,
can
though. This is
identify.
Oh, you just set the criteria where they can never meet it, and then just be like, okay, if they meet this criteria, then they can play.
But you're so
Scientifically
deluded.
speaking,
You're
no,
so
no, this is
deluded
just you.
because
No,
even
no,
if you
no,
have
Piers,
all the
Piers,
if you
Piers,
have
let me
all the
respond.
treatment,
Let me respond,
you still
Piers.
retain
You
the
have not
body
allowed
mass.
Piers.
the
Incredibly-
muscle.
It's just, why don't we just make a Troon League? Like what? I mean, I feel like that unironically would get a lot of views.
You'd have a lot less trans people that want to.
I would.
into sports.
I know that's the thing. Yeah, they wouldn't want to play against other fucking Troons. They wouldn't do it, man. They just wouldn't do it.
That's why it's fucked up.
I know, it's crazy. That's why they switched.
Ugh.
My dude was just trying to win a title since he couldn't hold his own versus men, so why not become one? Yeah. Tim gets it. I mean, listen,
Hey, wait,
I was like
before you start again,
50th in the league, and then I switched to females, and now I'm dominating everybody.
dude, you did it.
I did
Wait,
it.
before we start the video again, is the dude with the long hair Luke, David, Zena, Greg, Cade, Jacqueline, Evelyn, Liam, Parker, Mean June, Kamari, Brian, or Danny?
Danny, I think.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, I think this is
All right.
Danny and Parker. How did you get that list? That's such a long list.
I googled it, bro. You can't Google it.
I know
It's not
there's.
my job to
I
educate
know.
you.
I'm sad that I know like 10 of those, dude.
I don't think it's
Jesus.
Danny. I think it's Luke. Let's see.
Are you sure?
Uh,
Let's see. Hold on.
Luke or- No, it's not Luke either.
It is Danny, dude. Okay,
is
so
Danny.
atheists are Parker from Get a Job channel, me from
What?
Bill
Oh
Track.
wait, no. Okay, now I see it. I see it now. He had a different haircut.
So
All
now-
right. Anyway.
Yeah, and they're gay.
Mass, the lung capacity,
Nice.
you retain all the biological advantages of being born
Not after
a
multiple
man.
years of HRT. Not
Yes,
after
you
multiple years of
do.
HRT.
Yes, you
Wait, do you want
do.
to bet, Piers? Piers, put money on it. You said you retain every biological advantage.
Muscle
given that you
mass,
have gone through multiple years
lung
of HRT.
capacity.
You don't think muscle
You
mass
want to
can
bet
one
your
bone
body
entire
mass,
savings
bone
of
structure.
your entire life
Let's
that
bet
I'm right
Piers,
and you're wrong?
Piers, let's bet $1,000 right now that there are lower biological advantages that would specifically exist given that someone goes through multiple years of HRT, right, relative to
It's a
estrogen.
subjective
No,
argument.
you're missing my point.
Bet
which
that.
is,
Take that bet.
No, you're
Take that
missing
bet.
my. No, you're missing my point.
Are you going to accept the bet? Yes or no?
You can have
yes or no?
all the HRT treatment you
$1,000
like.
He's only bet
You can have all the
$1,000 to Piers
testosterone-
Morgan.
Hang
He's not
on.
going to accept it.
Let
He
me
won't do
answer.
it.
Here's my clip. Here's my clip. Here's my moment. I'm gonna clip it and put it on TikTok. I fucking hate these guys.
If you want to bet the $1,000,
I want
that
to
if you
believe
go
it. I
through
want to put him in a
testosterone
fucking locker.
reduction treatment and the rest of it, that you come out of it with a reduced muscle mass or lung capacity or the other things that give men an advantage, Take that bet for me.
Yeah. So I will bet after multiple years of HRT specifically relating to estrogen, right, there is a reduction in muscle mass. You want to take that bet, Pierce?
No, it's bullshit. Andrew Wilson.
Okay, let's take that bet.
Andrew Wilson. Andrew Wilson.
Yes or no? Do you want to take the bet?
I'm letting Andrew
That's the
respond.
appropriate response, man. Just no. You know what? It's bullshit. Next.
There's nothing else you can say to these kids.
HRT just make your bones and muscles digress.
Bro,
the size
can we
of a
just? I
woman.
mean,
I
what
don't
is
know.
Danny getting?
Yeah, I don't even know, dude.
What is Danny getting a doctorate or his PhD in? Can you imagine wasting that much of your life?
Yeah, I don't know actually. I think he's got a master's right now in like psychology or something.
What a waste.
I don't know. It could change the physical structure besides hormones. I mean, it basically is just gonna sap you of like, okay, so your body is naturally making testosterone. It's not gonna make as much testosterone. You are gonna lose a significant amount of like muscle mass, but it's like if you, I mean, you're never gonna lose like the training. You're never gonna lose like that fast twitch muscle. Like, dude, the 13 and 15-year-old male soccer team beat the current Olympic women's championship soccer team like a couple years ago, like 5 years ago or some shit like that. Crazy. And they've done it multiple times, like over and over. The women's soccer team gets trounced by like 16-year-olds constantly. Like, it's just not even a match. So imagine if you played sports with men your entire life and you're like 30 years old and then you transition. Even if you were on TRT or HRT or whatever for like 2 years, no, your bone structure, I would be willing to. I would probably take that guy because I don't think that the studies have actually been done well enough, to be honest. I think most of the studies are super biased right now because there's no incentive for anybody to go against the status quo right now, which the status quo in all of the academic society is still to support this thing, is to still be like, I support current thing, and if you don't, you're going to get fucking laughed out of the room, and you're going to get, berated, and everyone's going to come after you. You're not going to be taken seriously in the community anymore.
To you.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you're talking specifically about this, the whole LGBTQ thing has backfired greatly. And it's because this whole thing, Pride is astroturfed. It's literally astroturfed. You just showed us how. I mean, you have a massive corporation putting out propaganda for a children's TV show, showing a bunch of hands in a rainbow.
He's raiding the Discord.
It's very clear that this is backfiring.
Who's the worst
and by the way, the trans movement set the gay rights movement back 20 years or more. You can't.
Yeah, like that's the kind of shit that I do. Like whenever if I'm like trolling with the boys or something, I go like troll into a little politics Discord or something like that. Like I'm kind of the same. I can't really keep it together, dude. Like laughing like all retarded.
Convince us, Parker, even if you're attracted to men who you call women, that the rest of us need to call them women or men. Like they either are or they aren't.
Is this not changing the topic?
You have been trying to convince people forever that there's no way to distinguish these things. It's like, look, the average normal
your
person,
bones do relax.
They can tell that these guys who go out and go, hey, how you
just can't
doing?
explain
My name
it.
is Chuck with long hair are clearly not women, Parker. Like we know this. And so what happens is you guys gaslight everybody and try to pretend that, hey, you just can't really know. It's too vague. We can't really get to the meat potatoes here. It's like, we do know, Parker, and you have not been able to successfully, with your TikTok brain, convince people that men can be women and women can be men. You haven't done that. And that's one of the reasons that you see Pride falling behind is because of all of this gaslighting. People are rejecting it.
Tax day has passed, but for millions of
Here,
Americans,
we'll take
that's
this
where
to break. We'll do a sidebar. Yeah, they have a reduction in muscle mass, but I don't think the bone mass ever changes. That's why women have osteoporosis and stuff like way more frequently than men do. The effect on your bone structure is like throughout your whole lifetime. So your body like builds more bone mass because you build more muscle mass naturally. So like women especially through like breastfeeding and different things like that, will lose a lot of their bone structure, and their bodies are like developing in a way to support that or something like that. So their bone structures are generally weaker than men's or something. Let's see if I can do like we'll do a little grok. We'll do a little grokking. I just put what is testosterone's effect on bone mass? Significantly impacts bone mass by promoting bone formation and reducing bone resorption. Stimulates osteoblasts, bone forming cells, and inhibits osteoclasts, which are bone resorbing cells, leading to increased bone mineral density in men. Testosterone maintains bone strength, particularly, I can't say any of those words, trabecular and cortical bone. In women, it plays a lesser but still notable role, often via conversion to estrogen. Yeah. So low testosterone levels, such as in hypogonadism or aging, are linked to decreased BMD and higher risks of osteoporosis and fractures. Boom, dude! I remember science sometimes. Effects vary by age section. Yeah, so it's kind of important. Bone density reduces due to length and length and size don't. It's just the mass. Yeah, like the density that's the word I was looking for. Bone density.
There's an interesting thing going on with like the cultural left and the regular old economic and political left, where it's like everything is based on something super low key Gnostic, right? It's this Gnostic idea of society, and somewhere in there is this kind of perverted idea, or just like generally stretched idea, and they're reaching for something, but it's like you can do anything at any time, anywhere. Like this idea of being co-creators and all this stuff, which is not necessarily invalid, but it's like almost like they think they can operate inside reality, outside of reality.
Yeah.
It's like you got to pick one. You can't, like you got to, at the very least, you got to know how to go in and out and how to connect things. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
they don't do that. It's just like, we're just going to fucking be super out.
Yeah.
We're just going to make shit up. And it's going to work because you can just be anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean about this whole this whole idea that, you can't, like, you're going to take this moment, this little teeny tiny window of time and just try to extrapolate into the future. Like, well, we can do anything. We can, it's like you're putting the cart before the horse. Like, just because you can think about this thing and you can like conceptualize this like fantasy or idea doesn't necessarily mean you're capable of like implementing it, and that there's any place for it even in our society currently. The foundation that society rests on currently is capable of producing like this thing without ever. It's like if society collapsed tomorrow, you know what I mean, and everything was rubble, and then 6 months later you're like, you're in a camp with a bunch of people, fucking hunting rats and shit and cooking them over a fire and like eating cans of beans and shit, and you're over here like trying to build a fucking nuclear reactor, and you're like, yeah, but we can. It's like, okay, well, just because we can doesn't mean like literally we have the structure to do this right now, or we have the fucking means to make this a reality right now. Like, we're not Carbon-X. Like, we can't just plug a chip into the back of your head and pull you out and put you into a female body. Like, it's not going to happen.
We have a very specific subset of fundamentals and elements that we have to work with. You know what I mean? Maybe when you reach the 33rd degree and then you transcend, and then you teleport to another universe, then in that universe, maybe you can do all this stuff. You know what I mean? But not this one.
Right. I'd like to see a study on sports performance related to hip width. Oh, yeah, Tim, if we just give all the ladies testosterone, they'll be good to go. And they can keep up with these
/peers. That's TNUSA.
They just have to take it as a suppository, that's all.
Tax Network USA. Make the next move, not the IRS. Let's move on to another subject.
Can I respond? Can I respond?
Well,
to that
very
real quick?
No,
my God.
Parker. Jeez,
So
dude,
one,
get
I'm not
over it.
saying
You
that
lost.
He was
women
waiting
were
for
making
that
the
the
claim
whole
trans women are
break.
women and trans men are men. Right? That's a separate claim from the original claim about pride. I do want to
He's
address
just
the claim
reading
specifically
off a
about
screen.
pride and how we're addressing like how people are negatively impacted, and as a society we want
Yeah,
to
can I
address
read
this
my-
in terms
my,
of this so that we can reduce
Discord
the likelihood of people being
community's
harmed or negatively
comments?
impacted or not accepted in these communities. That's the point of pride in these conditions, right? Just because it is the case that issues have existed to a greater extent.
He's
in the past,
literally
because of
reading us. He's just reading off of a screen. Like, that's so gay, dude.
mean that we don't have an issue to address today, right? In terms of
He's
pride,
obvious.
right?
He's
Like
just
addressing
looking
that we
over at
should
the
have
screen.
acceptance of gay
Not
people.
his
We should
own
have
words.
acceptance of people in the LGBT.
That's why he's saying it that way. He's just like
plus TQ plus community. So
Yeah,
like,
I
that's
just-
just-
Isn't it
Here's-
counterintuitive though, Parker?
I'd
to
like to
say,
add one
like
thing.
clearly,
I would like to add one thing.
clearly, it's backfiring. Like it seems like it's counterintuitive. If you
Well,
push the
well, there's a
propaganda
mistake that
that
you're
I
hard,
think it's backfiring.
Yeah, it's
I wanna
backfiring.
Oh, it's
highlight-
Let me bring in
backfiring.
Danny.
Well, let's not
Let me bring
Not
in
backfiring,
Danny.
we just
Let
lost
Danny
the
have a
election.
say.
Yeah, right. I want to highlight that what the corporations do, right? I might agree with you. Some of them sell out for pride, right? They, it's marketable. I might agree
Some
with
of
you.
them,
Pride is way
all
more
of them.
than just what the corporations do. It's how people, identify with their sexuality and, kind of anti-bullying agenda. That's very important. In terms
Not
of
really
pride.
the-
Whatever
Who
corporations do,
cares,
if they sell out, they
though?
sell out. But you can still have pride, whatever they do.
Yeah, you can have pride,
Well,
but why
hang
do you
on,
have to have?
Danny, though.
Why do you have?
Why should you have pride? Actually, I don't know. Why? What is the purpose of having a pride? Who cares?
Because you took it up the ass. That's something to be proud of.
Apparently.
Had all the
Like-
if only my dad could see me now. It depends on what you mean by proud, eh? Depends on what you mean by suppository.
Mommy, look what I can do. Oh my God.
commercialization
It's not
behind it.
organic. It's not organic, Danny. This is not
Anti-bullying is inherently
organically. This is not.
No, actually, the bullying is organic. We should keep the organic
yep.
bullying.
Dude, nature.
True.
Nature nurtures.
Yeah. This is the way.
Organically people coming together anymore to force this. This is a bunch of NGOs
Andrew,
which go
if
to
you were-
corporations
Andrew, if
in
you were
order
actually-
That's the other thing. That is so true about it too, though. Is that like all of this stuff, dude? Like all the corporations with the BLM and the LGTV and Skittles, all this stuff. They don't actually give a shit. That's what's funny about it. They really don't care about any of that. They just care about making money. If tomorrow if they thought that it was fiscally responsible and that they would get, an increase in stock and whatever and returns on investment by, like putting the N-word as their profile picture on social media, they would do it. They don't actually
there's
care.
There's one more dimension that you're missing, and that's the fact that these leftists, they bullied and threatened.
Oh,
So
that too,
they
yeah.
infiltrated the institutions, corporations,
Yeah.
colleges, whatever. They got themselves in there, and then once they were in there, they started the bullying.
Yeah.
Oh, we need this, we need that, we need this. You didn't say this on Pride Day. You're a bigot.
Yeah, if not, your company's
And
going to look
the
like
thing
blah,
is,
whatever.
These major institutions that deal nationally and multinationally, the one thing that they're hyper paranoid about is bad publicity. And that's what these people threatened them with. They knew exactly what they were doing. And I was in literally like the heart of progressive retard, like the progressive retard universe. I was literally in it when they were starting to do all this shit at the end of Obama's presidency.
Yeah, that's
And I
cool.
heard all the bullshit. And they knew exactly what they were doing, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Yeah, you were in the fucking epicenter. Retardville, dude.
Yep.
That's crazy.
To
Like
Christian,
seventh
you would be
layer
in
of
support of
hell.
pride.
Huh?
If you were
I said seventh layer of hell.
actually Christian, you'd be in support of pride because you'd be
What's-
okay
oh,
with
yeah?
accepting
Is
people.
there a cardinal
right?
sin
Yeah.
called-
That's the fallacy. Like, it's if they actually read the Bible, Jesus Christ doesn't accept your sin. He accepts you as you are, in the hopes and encouraging you to repent of that sin and leave the sin behind. So no, there is no you're not supposed to be proud to be a prostitute, proud to be a thief, proud to be a murderer, proud to be an adulterer, You're not supposed to be proud of any of that shit. You should be proud that you're like a creation of God or whatever, but you're not like, no, you're not supposed to be proud of all your degeneracy and hedonism. You're supposed to leave it behind.
That's what
pride?
Jesus said.
Is there a cardinal sin called
Wait,
pride?
it's not pride in a
It's
literal
actually a
sense.
sin.
It's pride specifically in the sense
you know,
of
That's actually a very good
accepting
point.
people
Pride is
of
a
thy
sin.
neighbor.
Pride.
Why are you celebrating sin?
It's not
Yeah,
pride
you're
in a literal
celebrating
sense.
sin.
Here's-
What are you talking about?
Here's
It's
the
not
one that said
pride in a
that, huh?
literal sense. It's pride in the sense specifically where we're accepting people specifically for being gay, right? For
Yeah,
being
but that's
trans,
not
and that's
Christian.
exactly
They're
what
proud of
Christianity
it.
Wait,
boundaries. It
Christianity
doesn't
does tell you to do
proud
that.
of it, right?
Christianity tells you to
they're
love
proud of it.
everyone and tells you to
It
accept
doesn't
people who are
only
human
say
beings
that.
made
It
in the image
also
of
talks
God.
about
Gay
boundaries
people-
and limitations. You
But
have
gay
to have a
people and trans
basis
people-
for virtue versus vice. Christianity is a virtue vice ethic, and your whole ethos is to defend your own personal vices because your ethics are all purely subjective. You
Are
have
you
no
proud to be a
basis for
Christian,
rights
Jay?
other
Are you proud to
than
be a
what you
Christian?
say is the case.
Jay, are you proud to be a Christian?
Sure.
Oh, that's a sin.
That's an
Pride.
equivocation.
Oh,
I didn't make
get
the
'em.
argument.
Wow.
I didn't make the
I mean, look,
argument. That's an equivocation.
We're not talking about the cardinal
What's
sin.
an
We're talking about
equivocation
the sense of
fallacy?
pride. We're talking about the sense of pride that
The-
matters, to your identity, who you are, Christian.
I said virtue
gay,
vice
straight.
ethic,
So
and you
gay.
use an argument from equivocation. It's two different uses
No,
of the
no,
word.
you're equivocating.
that's what
You brought
Pierce
up the
was
cardinal sin.
No. Yes, you are. I didn't say that pride is the sin that is
Respectfully, wasn't that exactly what you guys were doing when I said that pride wasn't used in a literal sense, but then you guys equivocated and said that we were.
I didn't make that argument. Andrew made that argument. I said you don't
So
have
Andrew
a
made a
basis
mistake.
for virtue
So
or
Andrew
vice.
made a mistake. So Andrew made a mistake.
I said you don't have a basis for virtue or
No,
vice.
we were basing this around the idea that Parker said. What Parker said specifically here was, well, wait a second. If you're a Christian, you should be all about this. And it's like, no, not really. And you haven't really demonstrated
the
how.
Andrew Wilson show
Why?
now.
Why, Parker? Why is it that we need to support homosexuality as Christians, Parker? Tell us why.
Well, I was saying that you should be loving of thy neighbor as you're referencing specifically people, right? Human beings, right? If you're referencing
love
Why
people
does
and
that
human
mean we
beings,
have to
Qualified as
support
having
homosexuality?
Yeah, like I can love. I'm gonna love my children forever and ever. Okay, but if God forbid my future, like children grow up to be fucking, drug addicts or something, like they're not. It's after a certain period they'll be cut off. They'll be disowned essentially until they fix themselves. Like, so yeah, and that's literally what it basically teaches in the Bible is that like. Yes, you're loved, but if you remain in your sin, you're basically disowned. You have to stop all the degeneracy. Can't just keep doing it.
Liberals trying to use Christian arguments is just.
It's so frustrating, dude, because they don't actually care. You know what I mean? It's like about a gotcha. Or like taking. They're just clip chimping the Bible.
It's not even that. I mean, it's just pure concentrated delusion.
Support
I'm
homosexuality.
I'm saying that you have to be accepting of people who are homosexual.
Why
Because
do
you
we
are
need
Christian.
to support homosexuality, Parker?
Okay, we're not saying you need to support like engaging in gay intercourse. We're saying that you need to support people who are gay as they are people created in the image of God.
Why do we need to support them? Why do we
People
need to
created in
support
the image
them
of God.
in things that we consider sinful? You want us to support sin?
Wait, I'm not
But
saying that
by
you should
support, he just
necessarily
means-
support sin. I'm saying you're supporting the person who engages in sin the same way you're a sinner, and that you engage in sin, yet you should be supported.
So when homosexuals come to the church and they reject homosexuality, they're no longer acting in that way. They are accepted.
They're
in
not
the church. What are you
rejected. They're not
talking about?
rejected. Wait, by
It's
the way,
an
nothing in
action,
the
it's
Bible
not an
says that
identity.
being.
So there's a
being
vice,
gay-
virtue
Exactly.
ethic that they're not understanding. It's not an identity; it's a vice.
Wait,
Well,
so
look,
being-
I want to bring this. I
being
want to
gay
bring
is
the
different
pride
from
bit to an end. We're going to
engaging
move
in
on to the
gay
last topic. All I would say is, look, I absolutely do not think homosexuality is a sin. I completely respect everyone.
Oh my God, we get it, Piers. Virtue harder, dude. Virtue signal harder.
Allowing companies to virtue signal their way into making tons of money out of it.
You're virtue
I just think
signaling,
it's the grasping commercialization of sexuality
wait,
that I
just
find so objectionable.
Is your issue just how long? Is it you just want a week or a day? Like, what do you? Is that the
If
issue?
you want to have
the
a
length?
pride day, fine. But why a month? Goes
Wait,
on
does it
and on
matter
and
whether it's a
on.
month or a day?
Huh?
Wait,
What does it
couldn't
matter if it's a month
corporations?
or a day?
But you
Well,
get,
but we're gonna have
if
necrophilia
it's a day
month.
longer
Can
than
we
I
have
get as a
necrophilia
straight
month?
guy. I mean, what about me? Where am I?
Wait,
Where's my day?
Are you bullied for being straight?
We don't have the same issues.
Wait,
I
hold
get
on,
bullied all the time.
Piers.
I've been bullied on social
Not for
media
being
all
straight.
day.
Not for being straight. No.
Okay, Parker.
All right, let's move on. I want to play a clip from Joe Rogan. I'm going to start with you, Jay, on this. This is Joe Rogan talking about the R word.
It's one of these retarded shows where they're screaming. There's the word again. We brought it. We were just talking about
You
that.
did it early.
The word retarded is back, and it's one of the great culture victories that I think is spurred on probably by podcast.
Now, Jay, is it a great moment, a great cultural victory that the R word
Look
is
at
back,
Andrew
which
just
obviously
nodding.
is short for it's retarded, it's mentally retarded, so people who are mentally impaired. It was used in a
Piers retarded.
derogatory way
Do it.
against people who are mentally impaired. Why would that be a cultural victory to bring that back?
Because you're retarded, Piers.
Well, I'm a big fan of the R word because I myself act retarded all the time, and I'm proud of it. In fact, I would actually probably get retarded tattooed across my back because I think it is a cultural victory. I'd love to be able to say what's on my
You're so
mind.
much
I
better than
think,
us, Parker.
yeah, I mean, well, these guys are retarded as an example. So
Yes!
analysts that are retarded. So yeah, I love the R word. I'm rated R, totally. And I think that it's a freeing thing. It's a way to express the way we express things in the 80s and the 90s without.
Dude,
problem.
let's
You
go,
can go
dude.
watch Bill Murray comedy movies, and they're great because
Yeah, but people
have
used
the
to. Yeah,
freedom
but
of
hang on.
speech.
People used to use the N word, 30, 40 years ago, right? But then
Yeah, and
that
I
was,
champion all the comedians
but that
still use
became
the N.
something that was taboo in society.
I champion all the
Very
comedians that
offensive
still
to
using.
black people.
Look at his stupid face, dude. Like, no one's coming to save you, dude. Like, no one's booting him off the panel. Like, you're not gonna call his job and get him fired. Like, it's over, dude. It's not happening.
People. The R
Yeah,
word,
but I don't think it is.
the use of
Stupid
the R word is
oaf.
deemed
Look
to
at
be
his
very offensive
stupid
to
face.
people who are genuinely mentally impaired, and they don't like
He's
it.
making a soy face, like he's like freaking out over there. But
Yeah, I'm sorry. You just said it's
but
justified
there's a
for
difference
white people
between
to say the
taboo
N-word?
and what's wrong, morally wrong. I don't
Interesting.
equate the two.
All right,
Taboo is
Parker,
not
your response.
So here's my question. Do you think that
Making a
Jesus would
soy
say the
face.
N-word, and do you think Jesus would say the R slur?
Jesus does say
Jesus
jokes
literally
and
did
slurs in
say
the
the R
Gospels.
slur.
Yes, he talks
Does he
about.
Yeah, he
So
talks
Jesus
about
would
people
say
being
the
lame.
equivalents
Yeah,
of
the
those
equivalent is like.
So
Yeah, he
Jesus
calls
would
people
say the
dogs.
N-word and the R slur.
He
That's
calls
not the
people
same
dogs,
thing as the N-word and
which
the
is a
R slur.
reference to you guys' vice.
Parker,
How does-
Parker, do people in your friendship group ever use the R word?
Yes.
No,
They're
never.
such liars, dude.
It's just a taboo
They're
word.
such liars.
Yes,
Because I've been like in those communities and stuff. They all do it, dude. They just
Yeah,
had that
it's
huge thing where they were trying to like organize something. Dean got like $100,000 to organize some stupid campaign where they were gonna follow around like Charlie Kirk to all his college campuses and like own him or whatever. Like set up basically opposition tables to like basically to draw some of the crowd away or something like this. The whole thing basically fell apart because of the virtue signaling like nonsense, and then somehow he blew like all the money, give a bunch back. Like, what an idiot!
Amazing. Man,
Incredibly
I thought
wrong to use.
Democrats
You
were good with money.
Yeah, right.
shouldn't use it.
People in
And
your
honestly,
friend
the
group
fact
use
that-
the N-word.
Can I
But-
please?
but
can I
hang on,
please
out of
respond?
interest, Parker, what is your-
I forgot about that. Yeah, Dean is like in Parker's little group. And he had this whole thing. He had to like come out and apologize for using the N-word. So good, dude. So good. He's like old Fortnite streams, and he's like, "Yeah, my N-word, like we winning." He's like 13. Like, who cares? That's what's funny too. Is like if he was just another like if he was just a regular like gaming streamer or something, or even if he was a right wing streamer, everyone would have just been like, "Yeah, who cares? Like, you shouldn't apologize for that. It's fine." But since he's like a progressive leftist, he has to do the thing, and he has to like trot himself out solemnly and apologize.
But the good thing about Trump winning the election is that progressives have been sort of relegated back to their rightful place, which is in the corner for everyone to point and laugh at. Like in that,
The trouble though
role,
is that
they actually serve a purpose.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like now you're actually progressive because you're getting criticized. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's when that can actually turn into something. But when they're like in power, now forget about it.
it's sad too because like I don't want people to, especially like right wingers. I don't want to get comfortable right now, conservatives, because I think a lot of people are just gonna like tune back out, and like we need to like they're not all the way back in the locker though. They're not. We need to stuff them in the locker, put them in the trash can, give them a wedgie, and just like get back get in the corner all the way. Like it's close, but they're not quite there yet. And I think I think conservatives are going to let off the gas pedal a little too early, get out of control.
Recently, a lot of things have been posted all over the internet about how, like, when I was
How do you learn to
younger,
talk
I
like
would say
this?
slurs.
But you're not racist, right?
No,
I
no,
love
I'd
this
say
clip.
that
He had,
I'm not currently exhibiting racism. You know, I recognize that, you know, like when I was 14, like saying the N-word, that was like really bad. I also recognize that we should, you know, not take that lightly, because as soon as we start taking, you know, even like 14, 15, 16-year-olds saying slurs lightly, you know, that kind of makes it socially acceptable for kids to slur because, oh, well, they're kids. What I've done is I have not only like had character progression, I've changed as a person and apologized for those things, but then I actively advocate against them. Recently, a lot of things have been posted all over the internet about how, like, when I was younger, like, I would say slurs.
But you're not racist, right?
No, I'd say that.
Idiot. He did a whole like live stream on TikTok. It was pretty funny. He was tears.
Personally, for not
Apologize.
using it.
I think it's incredibly harmful. In the same way that we don't use other sorts of slurs because they're harmful, I think that we
If your
shouldn't use this word
arguments
because it's harmful.
hurt my feelings, should you not argue?
So no, specifically, we're saying it meets a threshold of harm, right?
Whose
because
threshold?
the R slur and the
Whose threshold
my
is arbitrary?
threshold, my
Your
threshold.
So
So
it's
this is arbitrary.
subjective. That's a subjective
Yeah,
argument. Thank you. So it's
we're
only your
we're
personal subjective taste.
We're obviously we're
If
talking
it's
about
your
under
personal
my
subjective
Can I
taste,
please
then it can
finish?
also
Can I
be
please
mine.
finish?
So
Okay,
that's
well
why
then,
it
Parker,
doesn't
it
work in an
doesn't
argument.
reach our
It's a bad
threshold,
argument.
Parker.
All right,
It
Andrew.
doesn't reach our
Fine. That
threshold,
would be.
Parker.
I understand, Andrew. That would be your perspective on the matter. But given my perspective, I would say that meets my threshold. Are you saying it's okay to use the N-word, Andrew?
And it's subjective, and it doesn't work as an argument.
Wait,
Andrew,
why do you
okay
think people that,
Andrew,
wait, I
Andrew,
have to ask you,
hold
why
on,
do
hold
you think
Yeah. Parker. Is it ever okay to use the word retard?
No. Is it okay for you to use the N-word?
Is it even okay to use the word retard to reference the word retard?
I think it's wrong to use it in general. Can you please use?
Can you answer my question, and then I'll answer yours? I promise.
I said it's
Is
wrong.
it okay to refer to the word
No.
retard if you're explaining the word retard?
Say arslur.
So you can't. Okay, so you can't even use. So just the word itself. Okay, so here's the thing that's so funny about this, right? Is like ultimately when we say,
Am I able to ask a question here?
retarded. Yeah. So I wouldn't
Voldemort.
use
That's
the
fucking
N-word. Here's
weird.
why. When I say that, if somebody says the N-word, what ends up ultimately happening, there's not really too much in the way of equivocation there. Retard is not actually referring to retarded people, though. Basically, ever. Nobody ever says it, Parker, to refer.
You know what's funny too is that even if you were to use the word retard to refer to a retarded person, they wouldn't know it because they're retarded. So it's like you can't even do it. It'd be like, is it okay to say the N-word to black people if they couldn't understand you? Like if when you said it, it's just like space-time warped and they just never heard the word or they just couldn't understand it. They were like, what are you saying? Like, I don't know what that thing is you were saying.
How many of the words that we use in the English language were slurs in another language that existed?
Oh, yeah.
Or exist somewhere else in the world? The thousands, the millions of language. We probably say a word that is a slur.
That's what
in
they
some
want,
other
though.
language
They want
every
like
time we speak.
1984. They want to like rewrite everything and like make everything soft and round the edges off and
Yeah. Well, this is their way of
Word.
culture policing and ultimately expanding the umbrella of their power and influence.
Refer to somebody who's actually retarded.
That doesn't change it.
99%
Wait,
of the case
hold up.
use
If
of
you're
a
using
word.
N-word to refer to a white
I'm gonna have to go get up and
person, it's still wrong. Would you use the N-word to refer to a white person?
I mean, in some circumstances, I think that you can use it in a comedic sense. That's hilarious. Sure.
You think white people using the N-word is okay in any circumstance?
Yeah, comedic senses especially. I think it's fine.
That's disgusting as fuck. You do it.
Oh
you
my
think you
God!
can do it right
No.
now, then
Is that an
your
argument?
subjective basis.
Is that an argument, Parker?
Wait, me calling something disgusting because I think it goes against my
Oh,
moral
you think it's
intuition?
disgusting?
What's
Okay,
the
you're right.
argument? That's
Homosexuality is
subjective.
disgusting because
Am I
it
able to
goes against my
finish?
moral
All right, let me bring
intuitions.
in Danny.
Can I respond?
Let me bring,
You- you seriously didn't let me speak.
hang on. Let me bring in Danny. This is what NBC said, NBC News, when they covered the return of the R word. They said, while its use has percolated in the comedy world for years, only recently has the word and discussion of its return become more normalized. That is fueled in no small part by a sense that the tide has turned both culturally and politically against those seeking to keep the word out of the popular lexicon. But the battle lines are not as clear as one might think. And there's no doubt that's true. I mean, what is your view about this?
I mean, we got to remind ourselves why people like us are against use of the R word, and especially in public places, right?
Yeah.
It's because it was a term, I believe, a technical term for mentally disabled people, and we don't want to demean those people or accidentally offend people
They
that
don't
have
know.
children or relatives or friends that that are mentally
And
disabled.
the
right?
only other people you would use
and
it against
so
are like
it has that
autists or like Down syndrome people. But even like the only people you would probably want to use it against would probably be autists or like Asperger. These people, these guys, because they would probably all claim they're like neurodivergent or whatever. But like Down syndrome people are chill as fuck. You wouldn't even ever want to use it again.
Why do we need to protect people from reality?
Right.
I think that's a central theme of what the left intends to do, especially the cultural left.
Yeah, it's the same reason why we should call these guys gay. It's just like because you're gay.
This
Yeah.
is reality. you
Yeah,
motherfucker.
this is what you're
off.
giving off. Like we can just tell.
Like it's like why can't you make fun of gay people? Why can't you make fun of trans people? Why?
Can you make fun of
Fuck
fat
you.
people? Why can't
You're
you make fun of
fucking gay and you're
why can't you
trans. I
make
can
fun of
talk about it.
Trumpers? Why can't you make fun of like Democrats?
Yeah.
Like who
You're
where
so
does it
secure
end? Yeah.
in your lifestyle and you're so convicted about the way you're living, then it shouldn't bother you.
And that
You know what I mean?
well that's the thing too. That's the thing that's funny about the whole leftist like paradigm or whatever. And they do the virtue signaling thing. They pretend that it's about stopping bullying and harassment and blah blah blah. But they openly will say that it is okay for them to harass, abuse, bully the opposition, which is conservatives or right wingers, because their ideas are dangerous to the rest of us. It's actually okay for us to bully and berate and attack, harass, dox, SWAT, all of them because their ideas are super like bad and dangerous. Like we actually should do that.
Because ultimately, the people who pioneered this whole cultural war tactic, they understand that that's what it is. It's a tactic. It has nothing to do with a moral philosophy, has nothing to do with how they feel about this, whether they think this is right or wrong or any of that bullshit, because they don't have a robust moral system. It's a tactic. That's all it is.
connotation, unlike the word dog. When Jesus used the term dog, right, there's no such connotation, right? You'll have to be reminded of why it's considered to be a slur, right? I mean, it's like you forgot.
Yeah, but so is like the word.
What?
So is the word moron.
made up.
So is the word moron. The word moron had a really negative societal connotation, and it still does. And people use it all the time, just in lieu of the word retard. They'll just say you're
Right,
a
but that's
moron instead of you're a retard. It's
the
like
R word is
you're,
more
you're
recent,
hang
and I
on,
think
hang on.
that matters.
You're begging. Hang on. You're picking and
arbitrary.
choosing. Yeah, you're picking and choosing which thing to be selectively offended by. You're not. I don't. So like, let me ask you guys this honestly. I want you guys to answer me fucking honestly. Does the word retard actually offend you?
Yes, I think it's fucking
Oh
easy
my
to use. I've been
Does it
very
actually
clear. It's
offend you,
fucked up.
Danny, when somebody says
Yes.
the word
Wait a minute.
retard?
Yeah, it does.
So with
does,
Zach
especially in public
Galifianakis,
places,
They're
and
such
professional
a-
places.
so Zach
like this.
Not as much
Galifianakis
you would
does
from
some
Parker.
when he does comedy and he does a movie and he makes a joke and says retort. Is that also bad?
I'm confused the context of what you're referencing. Is he specifically trying to
No, wait a
refer to
minute.
the
Now,
R slur? If he is,
context
then yes.
matters. So now
Yeah,
the
he's
context
trying to
matters.
allude to the word retard.
I don't. Okay, then yes, that's wrong.
Yes, it's
Okay.
wrong.
I
So
thought you were
it is
saying
like
like someone. I
Any
thought you
word
were. I
that
thought
references
you-
another word now is wrong, like moron.
so specifically in terms of the one I thought you were referencing like someone responding to an argument. I thought the particular term that you were using.
Zach Galifianakis in a comedy movie saying retort as a joke instead of retard.
So if your friend
I think
says
that's incredibly fucked up to use.
Okay, so now also any word that refers to the word retard is now wrong, like moron.
I think if you're intentionally specifically trying to use a word right in place specifically of the R slur, specifically as to create the same type of outcome as the R slur.
So any word that could refer to that
particular
word is now
intention,
wrong.
I think that particular intention would.
So you can't say the word moron. So now you can't say
the word moron.
You don't necessarily have that intention. It doesn't meet the particular threshold of harm as well.
Spiraling into insanity because
that's not. I gave two conditions to separate it. I gave two conditions.
It
being
subjective, we won't be able to say stupid,
it being subjective is not a critique.
silly.
That's not a critique against.
We'll just go on and on.
Yes, it is.
It's not. How is that a critique?
Yes, it is. If something's purely subjective, then I can come with all the same claims.
Never be able to bully the theater kid out of the theater kid, or the theater out of the theater kid.
Wait, there not being a resolution, particularly between the moral disagreement of me and
you.
Yeah,
that's why the theater kid just gets bullied for the rest of their life, basically. I mean,
then you can't say anything is morally wrong. There's no ought from an is.
Wait, I can say something is morally wrong under my perspective. You're misunderstanding subjective morality.
You're not giving.
Wait, I have a question.
Why it's
I have a question.
No, he's not.
Morally, objectively,
Hold on,
I can
I'll ask you
also
this
counter it.
Can I ask you this
I
question?
think that's the whole thing. Everybody gets it, but you.
God's stance or independent of God's stance?
Ultimately, it's grounded in God.
Okay, so it's
And God
subjective.
is a subject. Yeah, God is a subject.
No, that's
so.
not a subjective argument. The argument.
God is a
the argument is that it's objective. Objective argument. The argument.
God is a
The argument is that it's objective.
What?
I
Not
need-
the fact that a person makes an argument
Jay
doesn't make
Dyer's
the argument
mocking
subjective.
laugh on us.
Your argument
God
is
is a
pure
subject.
subjectivism.
Is God a
Two
subject?
different things. It's a category error.
Is God a
How's that a
subject?
category error?
It's two different categories. A subjective argument for
We're
ethics
we're
is
two different people too, right?
different than
how's it
a
relevant,
person
right?
who's a subject making an argument. Those are two
The
different.
point is that God is a
categories.
subject; he's not an object, right? We're subjects, right? We understand morality in terms of
That's
God. In fact,
that's you're equivocating again.
Look, can we bring this
The
back
fact
to the
that
point
God's
here?
a
no,
subject
no,
doesn't
no,
mean
no,
that
no,
it's
you wanna
not
run away.
objective. That's
No, you
idiotic.
can't.
Wait, God having his particular view on morality is no different than me having my view because we're both subjects.
The
Can you tell me
argument
what a
is that
subject
it's
is?
an
God's not the
objective-
subject.
What is a
He's the.
Jay,
Oh
what
my-
is a subject?
You're
Wow.
equivocating on the fact
What
that
is a subject?
subject is making an argument versus the
do you
argument
think
being
objective
subjective.
means,
you said
That's
Jay?
a
Wait,
philosophical category error.
Jay, I
This
asked
is
you
like
if it's
talking
true.
to children.
I asked you.
It's a
I asked
category
you-
error, you idiot.
I gave you the youth throw dilemma. I asked you if it's true dependent upon a stance or independent of a stance. You said it's dependent upon God's stance. That's subjective by
No,
definition.
I said that the argument for Christian ethics is not a subjectivist ethic, and because God is a subject, it doesn't make the system subjective. That's an equivocation
What do you think
error on
subjective
your
means,
part.
Jay? What does subjective mean? What does subjective
Purely
mean, man?
relative to the individual.
Okay, is God an
true
individual?
dependent upon a stance.
Is God an individual?
That doesn't mean that the ethic is
Uh-oh,
subjective.
uh-oh.
It's
Just
an
answer the
objective
question.
ethic. You're
Is
just
God an
rephrasing.
individual?
You're substituting the
Nacho.
word individual for subject.
I'm asking you if God is an individual.
It might be too late. I was gonna ask you. Are you sure you want to put him on camera?
Oh yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
I knew. Hold on, give me a second. See if we can.
Yes or no, Howard?
That doesn't mean that the ethics is subjective.
Yes
that's
or
a
no?
system and
Who's running now?
It's an
Is God an
epistemological
individual?
argument that's
Just answer the
different
question.
from.
Let me bring Andrew. Andrew, you wanted to get in here.
Jay's getting cooked, so he's
what
got
are
to
you
get
going
him
to
out.
say?
Jay's getting cooked.
You're making a dumb mistake of language.
Hang on. Let Andrew come in, please.
Yeah. So I mean, this is kind of obfuscating from the point. What does any of that have to do with the point of retard? So, and
He
you being
brought up
offended by
subjective
the
morality.
word.
Are you listening?
Yeah,
What?
Can you hang on? I'm talking to Parker, not you, Danny. Calm down.
I'm
Wait,
talking
you've
to
been
you,
cutting
Buster.
people off this whole
I
time.
don't understand.
talking to
I
you,
don't
Buster.
understand, Parker. When a friend of yours comes over and he says something to you like you're in private, and he's like, "Hey, hand me that," and he tosses it and you miss it, and he goes, "You retard." You literally stop the kind. You go, "Don't say that. It's very offensive." Do you say that? It's very offensive. I really don't like it when you say. Do you dress him down, Parker? If you have someone who calls you a retard in a friendly way.
I'm
like to say
sorry,
something.
my mic cut out, so I couldn't hear you.
Oh,
I want to post
Yeah,
something to
if
Andrew.
you have a
I wanna
friend,
post
if you have
Andrew.
a friend, shut up, Danny. If you have a friend, Parker, and your buddy comes over and he like tosses you something, and you drop it, and he's like, "You retard." You dress him down. Do you go, "I can't believe
Yeah, I
it.
would
You,
say-
you called
yes,
me
I
a
would say that's
retard."
wrong.
Why?
Yes.
That's
I would like to
hurting
say
other
something now to
people's
renew your
feelings.
response. I would like to
There's no way he has any friends.
Who's
say
around?
something.
I would say that.
Parker, who's around to be Parker?
not hard
Who's
to
around to be
understand Parker's
offended
position.
except
Just let
you?
him
Who
talk.
wants to be
Who's
around?
around to be
That's-
offended?
How is that?
I would like to ask
Change whether or
Andrew a
not I
question.
think it's wrong.
Yeah, so I don't understand.
Let
like-
Danny
An
Danny
argument to
respond.
them to just
Danny?
whine.
I want to give
Get mad.
Andrew a hypothetical. Suppose there's this unknown society where if you show this signal, everyone's extremely offended. They'll get very angry, like people get angry at typical slurs like the N-word, right? Would you go
The
around
Vulcan
just
sign
doing
for
this?
logic? The Vulcan sign for
Hmm?
logic?
Do you understand the hypothetical?
What?
They don't even
Are you
Do you
posing a
understand the
hypothetical?
hypothetical?
Wow.
So imagine
No,
you go
I
to
don't.
a
Can you use
society where
really
this
small?
is-
Can you use really small words, bro?
Okay, imagine a hypothetical, right, where
Mhm.
you're going to a society you don't know about, but all you know is if you do this.
I'm
right,
imagining
it's
a
heavily frowned
hypothetical?
upon. Let me finish. You didn't understand
Oh,
the
okay.
hypothetical, so I'm having to repeat it. So let me finish.
Yeah,
If
repeat
this,
it. Use
this-
small
Let's
words.
say this is extremely. Let's say this signal is extremely offensive in that society. Really offends people. Would you go around just doing this to troll people, or would you not do it?
I would definitely tell him to live long and prosper, bro.
Okay, you're just not engaging in the hypothetical. You're not a serious person.
What
The
do you
point- I'm
mean?
trying to
That
illustrate
is
You're not a
is that-
serious
What I'm trying to
person.
illustrate is that if a
think
term
it-
really offends a friend of someone, right, or if you're or a family member or something like that,
Blah, blah.
why would you use the term but to piss them
The
off?
trouble is,
Raising his
is
hand.
that we've got to a place in our society where the language police are now so out of control that we can't even use the word in hospitals mother because somebody who is a trans person, trans man who's having a baby objects to the word mother.
Yeah, you can't say
And that's
mother
the
anymore.
problem
You have
with
to say
language police
birthing
is that
person.
if there's
They
if
were
there's no
trying to do that
natural
stuff with us,
societal
like at the ultrasound and stuff. You know what I mean? Like saying they or whatever. No, yeah, she, he,
Oh, fuck up.
he. Yeah, with the penis right there. Yeah, he.
Yeah, they did the
Invitation
same
to
thing
it.
on ours. I'm like, bitch, that is a penis.
Yeah. Like, no, we're not doing this. No.
It's never ending. Somebody somewhere will always be offended by a word somewhere. And at the moment in society, it's like there are 1,000 words that upset people. That's my problem with it.
And Danny, what?
Yeah, so the solution is to just regress completely, just use all the slurs, say all the things. Just we're
Being so goddamn
over it, dude.
sensitive.
Yeah, we're over it.
Wow.
What do you do in that
Dude,
situation?
there is nothing.
I think that's more
There is
offensive.
no-
I think that's more offensive than a lot of slurs. Saying GD, I have a hard time not saying it, but I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna like dress people down. Hey man.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing abnormal about discrimination. You discriminate in every decision that you make. Like, if somebody wants to get butthurt about it, that's not your responsibility. That's their responsibility. Like, not everybody's gonna like you. So if somebody doesn't like you, get the
And
fuck
absolutely
over it.
nobody is gonna like these two idiots on the left.
Seriously.
In a different way.
Parker, you wanted to respond to that?
No, I want to respond to this particular point. Christians get oftentimes very angry about specific terms you use, whether it be in the context of their particular beliefs, whether it be transubstantiation, calling them a cannibal, specifically under their view, if it is the case that they think it's the actual like body and blood of Christ that they're eating specifically within and drinking within communion, right? That us calling them a cannibal, they get really, really angry with, or us blaspheming the Holy Spirit, they get really angry with.
And you don't seem to care about doing that, do you?
They're no, I don't. They're the tone police.
Yeah, right.
You guys don't talk.
Yes.
You guys don't.
That's the point I was making earlier. When you're like, you don't care about doing that, and he's like, no, that's it. It's over. All right. Well, then we don't care about calling you retarded.
You guys don't talk about that. No, it's not because I'm not a Christian. I don't hold those perspectives.
Yeah, but that's why.
Is ask them to be this critical of Muhammad. Ask them to be this critical of Islam. And
That's
just
true.
Watch it fall apart.
Yep, everyone's a eugenicist. Wait, what?
Okay, hang on. That is fascinating. So,
Yeah,
in other
exactly.
words, you don't mind doing the slur against Andrew over
against
things that he
Christians.
cares very passionately about his religion because you don't.
They both
share
are agreeing, dude.
his
that's funny.
religion.
They're both.
Therefore
Yeah,
you
even the other
can't
guy's like,
offend
no,
him.
yeah. Why would
Therefore
we
you
care?
can't offend him.
How is that a slur?
He said, "Would you use the word cannibal?" You said,
The
"Yeah, you wouldn't
point-
care."
wait,
That's not a slur. That's not a slur.
Yeah, but you're saying it's equally as offensive to a Christian, like to say things like that.
Hang on.
It is to him.
They just
Hang on.
redefine
no,
it.
it's
It is
not.
to
No,
him.
it's not. Anything.
A slur was
Parker,
what offended people. It was
See, so
supposed to be
hang
what
on. So
offended
Parker,
people.
you decide
whatever
what.
offends is the
Hang on,
slur,
hang on. Just to be clear, Parker, you are the slur monitor, are you? You decide what
No,
isn't
you?
the slur,
Ad hoc.
and
I'm
therefore
sorry.
you,
We all have
Parker,
definitions.
can say what the fuck you like, as long as you have
Dumbass
decided
Parker.
it's not a slur. You see the flaw
You know
in the
you're
argument?
retarded when Piers is laying at you.
Obviously, we have
You're no, it restart. It restarted.
So yeah, I love the R word.
Hold on.
Rated R.
That's wrong.
My God.
Yes, that's
No.
wrong.
Pure
Subject.
subjectivism.
Is God a
Two
subject?
What are you gonna say?
Jay's getting cooked.
You're
Oh, we're so far.
Okay, you're just not engaged.
Parker, you wanted to respond to that?
Matt,
And
do you?
they're not a slur.
He said, "Would you use the
No,
word
no.
cannibal?" You said,
The
"Yeah, you
point-
wouldn't
wait,
care."
wait, That's not a
and here,
slur.
the
That's
point-
not a slur.
Hang on.
It
A
is to
slur-
him.
If there are
hang on,
people
a
you would
slur
not
is
breed
not
with, that means you're
anything-
A slur
eugenicist.
was
Parker,
what
Parker.
offended people. It was
See, so
supposed to be
hang
what
on. So
offended
Parker,
people.
you decide
whatever
what.
offends is the slur.
Hang on. Just to be clear, Parker, you are the slur monitor, are you? You decide
Slur
what
monitor.
isn't a slur,
Ad hoc.
and
That's
therefore
Twitter handle right
you,
there.
Parker,
Definition.
can say what the fuck you like, as long as you have
Dumbass
decided
Parker.
it's not a slur. You see the flaw
Yeah, you're getting jabs in like behind Piers, like, yeah, you fucking dumbass Parker.
in the argument.
It's all ad
Here's,
hoc.
obviously, we have definitions on what slurs are. I don't know why that's a confusing thing to you. Do you have a definition?
it's
Obviously, you have a
defined it.
definition.
I would say saying to a Christian
Obviously.
that he's a cannibal because of communion or whatever, I think is utterly offensive. Yeah, and a slur. But you don't,
But it's
because you
offensive on
don't share the
purpose.
religion. Therefore, you, language monitor Parker, have decided it's not a slur. And so, as long as you don't think it's
Yeah, it's almost different. It's almost even worse in a way too, because you're like cannibal is like whatever, but if you're using cannibal like to call someone because they believe in transubstantiation, like both of them do, like we all do, like Orthodox Christians do, then that now becomes like, yeah, you're doing it specifically to antagonize the person. That would be closer to like retard is like way over here, and like this would actually be closer to like using a slur like the N-word or something, like like the hard art, like you're using it with the intention of triggering someone or pissing someone off.
It's a big difference
It's
if I
actually
call
worse.
you a fag. You know what I'm saying? If I say, "Oh, you're such a fag for that," you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a big difference if I say that to you versus if I walk up to Danny or Parker and I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Wow, you fucking fag."
Yeah,
You know,
we're on YouTube.
like, I'm
by the way,
obviously
so be
doing
careful.
that just to like. I'm obviously doing that to be inflammatory and to upset them specifically. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And that's the same thing that they're doing. You know, if they're gonna call a Christian a cannibal for taking communion, like,
Yeah,
okay,
but it's
you're obviously doing the thing that you're complaining about.
Yeah, but what's funny is that like most of the time with people calling each other retards is like a mild like aggression. Like if I'm calling you retarded or I'm saying something is retarded or I'm calling you a retard, it's not even that big of a deal. I mean, like it's an escalation of words or whatever. Like it's like calling someone an idiot. It's not nice, but it's not meant to be like, you know what I mean? Obviously, like they were saying earlier, you're not ever using it towards mentally ill people. I don't even think like the worst people are doing that. Maybe somewhere out there's like a handful of like psychopaths, but most of the people that are using the word are using it colloquially or like in a slang setting, like you were talking about. Yeah, you retard. Like, you really messed that up. Like, and it's more so happens between like male friend groups. So like these are the guys who would be like essentially ostracized from the male friend group because they couldn't take a joke, and so now they turn into like these SJWs who need to like go police everybody else because whenever all the other guys said it to each other, they like got over it, and whenever they said it to these two, they cried about it for like a week. Every night when they went to bed, like,
yeah, it's just a power trip.
So good.
It's a slur. And this is my problem with your
Rules
generation.
for thee, but not
is
for
that you're
me.
so easily offended, except when you're offending everybody else.
Wait, if it genuinely is the case that it leads to a particular level of harm that I would say meets my particular threshold of harm, I would say we shouldn't use that term. All I was doing is describing specifically there are terms and words Christians think are very harmful to them.
Cannibalism is a criminal offense.
Listen.
Hang on.
Parker, there's a lot more Christians than there are
Cannibalism is a
sense.
crime.
You're
accusing it of him of being a criminal.
That's actually a good point.
Because I'm using their own definition of the term.
A lot more Christians than there are
specifically
retards.
because it is the case that you're equivocating. Because that's not. I don't think it's actually like the body and blood of Christ. So they didn't actually, in a meaningful sense, violate any laws. Does that make sense?
And I don't think I'm actually calling somebody mentally, slow when I say retard either, Parker. So what?
It still meets a particular threshold of harm that I would consider.
Okay, well, it meets a threshold of harm to me when you call them.
threshold.
Yeah.
All right, we've got to leave
Okay,
it
well,
there.
then-
It's been a
Yeah,
fascinating
retard.
clash of...
Andrew.
Hang on, no, we've got to leave it there. It's been a great clash of cultures. I think we should do this again. I think both sides
happily.
are learning from each other and beginning to bond. Thank you all very much.
Come back with the new cut, Parker.
Okay, you can keep interrupting, buddy. You're so scared.
Here's what my sensitive...
Oh my
Wow.
god. Jeez. Yeah, that's fun. Two theater kids who think popularity is dependent on victim. Yeah, I mean, well, that's what it is. That's the problem. It has become that for like the past.
That's
like,
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, for the past, God, 15
Dude.
years or whatever. Like it's slowly just become that. Yeah. Popularity is, and for the past 10 years specifically, like hardcore and stuff.
Dude, I was spurging out to my wife about that the other day, about when I was at where I was at. You know what I'm saying? When all that stuff was starting, that's literally how people were. And I was like, why are people like this? Like, this is supposed to be a school for this specific discipline,
Yeah.
but nobody is getting anywhere unless they bitch about everything that ever went wrong in their life. Like, what's going on here? I don't want to fucking do that. God damn, if I start bitching, if I start doing that, all of you motherfuckers will never be able to talk again. Jeez. Oh, the peaceful protests?
Hmm?
Yeah. Dude, so much peace. This is where they should be picking the Pope from. I don't know what they were doing with that whole conclave bullshit, but if you're the Catholic Church and you're serious about promoting peace on earth, you go to a fucking Democrat protest. You don't fucking hold a conclave. Like they're not even serious. These people on the screen, these are the people. Look at all that peace. Then he pulls up lo-fi.
Yeah, that's what I'm used.
That's actually like the perfect soundtrack to watch the protest to.
That's what I was gonna do. I think I'll do this. Okay,
Dude, what is the decal on that truck bottom left? Ruh-roh.
Loot. There we go. One at a time, dude. Oh, here we go. Oh, God. What's happening? How do I make it go away? That's not my YouTube. I don't know why it's.
Bro, close out the gay porn.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. And why does it come like preloaded with fucking weird anime shit, dude? What the fuck? It's not me, dude. It's this. I don't know what I'm be able to like mult.
All right, man. It's Pride Month.
You like it? Had some good ones yesterday.
I mean, what's these people, man? How many people like you're the party of immigration, right? But you're out to protest illegal immigration. You can't be pro-immigration and angry about illegal immigration. It doesn't make any sense. The illegal immigrants hurt the ones that try to come over the right way.
So there was a funny.
When did I flirt, bro? When have I flirted?
None of the people protesting are probably under threat in any way, shape, or form. So, like, what's their problem? You know, if your family wants to come over and all these illegal immigrants and nobody has any idea what's going on and there's all this economic, repercussions from it, like, that's hurting you and your family from having people come over and doing it the right way. Like, this doesn't even make any sense. Like, how do they even get so radicalized to go out in the street and do this shit? I know the answer, but Jesus.
Well, doesn't they're all like
in
waving?
LA?
Yeah, they're all like waving.
What are you doing?
But yeah, I mean, like you're supposedly protesting because you want to stay here. Throwing concrete, setting cars on fire, and wait.
Yeah, I mean, what's the message? Like, do you even hear yourself? Okay, just because you say peaceful protest when you're burning the cars.
Dude, they really were. They were doing the summer love thing all over again, dude. They literally had a guy. Let me see if I can pull some of these up.
Well,
they had a guy standing in front of the burning cars earlier today, making a news broadcast, or yesterday maybe, that it was going all over X. And he's like, well, I don't know if I would call them like riots or whatever. It's like, dude, it's on fire. The city's on fire behind you. Like, what are you talking about, man? I don't know.
My favorite thing on X today was when all the Democrat apologists would come out and they'd say, "Oh, this picture is actually not from today. It's from 5 years ago, dork."
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, so you're admitting that this isn't the first time you've done this. That's what you're doing right now. So are you saying there's a pattern here that everyone should be aware of?
Yeah. Trying to see.
Enforcement in there in the wrong way and turn what is just a
Yeah,
bunch
this
of
is a
people.
classic.
Peaceful protest, but we are blocking an intersection.
This is
Probably don't have a permit.
Having fun watching a large group of people. It could turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there in the wrong way.
It could turn volatile.
Just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn into a massive confrontation and altercation between officers.
That's like a Saturday Night Live
kidding?
clip, dude. I mean, that's literally like a sketch that you would see on Saturday Night Live, but it's real. Like, they're like, what would otherwise be just like some guys watching some cars burn, and you're gonna turn it violent. Like, what do you mean just watching cars burn?
You didn't know that?
Very volatile if you
No, the
move
cars
law
they
enforcement in there in the
spontaneously
wrong
combust.
way and turn what
It's
is
a
just
spectacle
a bunch of people
that the city rolls out
having
when there's
fun
protests.
watching cars burn into a massive confrontation.
A bunch of people having fun watching cars burn.
Yeah,
It's
wow.
like the craziest statement to say.
The wrong way and turn what is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn into a massive confrontation
Crazy,
and
dude.
altercation.
Yeah,
Hey,
so
that's real
fun,
life,
and,
dude. Real.
large group of people. It could turn.
It's not a
very
bit,
volatile if
dude.
you move law
It
enforcement
should be
in
a
there.
Saturday Night Live bit. It's not. It's actually crazy. People are actually crazy. Jesus.
Why do they feel the need to get online with the police like that? Like, what's telling you to do that? The peacefulness.
There's another one that was just as crazy. Oh yeah.
And so, yes, the LAPD do have outliers that throw things and cause damage. And so, yes, the LAPD came in and they called it an unlawful assembly. I believe that the LAPD has this underhand, and they are very, very experienced in riot control. So, this is something that they can handle. We do not have to have the National Guard here. We certainly do not have to have the Marines here. This is a
saying that while it's playing, like side by side, and the cars are burning. It's just like, I don't even know what their goal. Like, what are you doing? Like, what is your? What are you talking about, man? What do you mean? The fucking city's burning beside you.
That's that whole mentality of like, we can make anything out of anything no matter where we are. It doesn't matter what the rules are. We just fucking speak it into existence, and it doesn't matter what's going on around. Like, it's just subjective. It's all bullshit. Just what I say it is.
They're crazy
And you can
people,
just
dude.
believe
They're
it.
literally crazy people. I'm gonna mute on the stream for a second. I gotta go make sure the baby's. I think she's waking up. Give me like 6 seconds.
I'll be right back too. I'm gonna go get another beer.
pressing us. We've been doing their orders. We've been pushing back. I mean, we've been moving back. They've been pushing us back. Share the live with 3 people. Will be in 9,000 views. Share the live. The word will pop up for people.
What are you doing here? What are you doing here, my boy? Why you here? Why you here? There ain't no shame in your eyes. Hell yeah. No shame in your eyes.
Dude, did you see the lady get freaking shot with the beanbag earlier? The Australian protester or whatever?
Yeah, I tweeted about it.
It's so
Hold on,
funny.
I'm gonna show you.
Dude.
Yeah.
Or yeah, did you say?
Yeah, that was.
I got sent.
You know, I tweeted about it.
Yeah. Gosh, so good. Peaceful protest. Dude, it is so good.
Peaceful protest. Here we are, headbanging the police.
Yeah. So good.
Come on, use those super soakers.
I know, dude. Where are like the
I
fire
like the guy,
cannons, dude? Like, where are people? I want to see people getting yeeted across the street.
I like the guy with the American flag and the Mexican flag, though. That's kind of based.
Yeah.
How many people got pissed off at him for that? What are you doing?
Your name is Guerrero. What are you doing? Like he's like, I'm trying to stay in the fucking country, you dumbass. Try not to get deported, you stupid fuck. Dude, did you see this with the LA scanner account or whatever? This shit was great. So this account was posting the locations of like ICE raids and shit, putting, you know, ICE agents at risk and making it like undermining government authority, whatever. Then they get on all kinds of shit. They got doxxed. They got reported to like the authorities as, you know, for doing that. And then they're like, I want to issue a formal apology. I should not have posted location of ICE raids. I will no longer do so. I've contacted authorities to take responsibility, and they are currently reviewing my account to determine if any laws were broken. If it's found that I violated any law, I will cooperate fully and turn myself in. No, you got turned into the authorities, and they know where you're at. You don't have a fucking choice. And it's like, to those targeting my family, please, I'm begging you to stop. They've done nothing wrong. Do not deserve to be dragged into this. The anger should be directed at me. Them. Has already come to my home, pounding on my door, demanding to confront me. This has gone too far. To anyone I may have put at risk, sincerely apologize. That was never my intention. This is like just what we were talking about. Just what we were talking about. Like, when they do it, it's okay. When they're the ones doxing people and harassing people and threatening people and putting people at risk, making people lose their jobs, it's fine. And then when the tables are turned and now it's them, now they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, please. Forgive me.
So what? I mean, I don't understand though. Like, I thought morality was subjective. So
right, true.
If he thought it was okay to do that,
then it's still okay.
Why is he in trouble?
Yeah, why is he apologizing? It's still okay for you to do that. Do it.
Taking an E for Fat Floyd. Do you follow George Droid? You should.
Yeah, dude, George
Like
Droid
that
is
Twitter account.
epic, dude. I don't even think I can look at any of the stuff on stream because I'm.
No, you can't. You can't.
It's so good.
And,
though.
fat fella. Fat fella. That's so funny.
So good.
I hate it. It's so
Look
funny.
at him blowing bubbles. You're a traitor, dude. And you know what's funny? I don't want to steal his. Actually, nobody. It's fine. I'm so much smaller. There were some people. There were some people talking about like a skit, like a funny skit where it's like making fun of these because we've noticed like watching all this live streams that like nobody's really doing anything and like everybody's just like got their camera out, and so they're like saying it needs to be like a skit. There needs to be like them doing the thing, like everybody's out there filming. And everybody's like waiting for somebody to kick it all off, and they're like, any minute now. Like, they're all talking to their streams individually. Hey guys, yeah, I'm just here at the protest. I'm here at the live streams, and yeah, it's all about to kick off. But like 20 fucking people all doing the same thing. Like, yeah, one of these guys is gonna throw the first rock. Like, any day now. Crazy.
Like any of those police officers have that power. And who are they protesting there? Each other?
They don't know. Like that's the thing. Is like they're like, well, they could be like doing it better or something. It's like, what do you mean? They're doing the same things that they've always done. ICE is conducting themselves in the same way they've always conducted themselves under several administrations. They're deporting people that are here illegally, and they're like, well, they could just go after the criminals. I'm like, if they're here illegally, they are a criminal. Like, they have to go. Oh, the pit vipers, dude. What? That's not a. Those aren't yours. Those are for right wingers.
Honestly, though, I think
They're
they're
for
right,
base right
dude.
wingers.
Get ICE out of LA and deport all the illegal immigrants from everywhere else and send them to LA.
True, yeah.
Don't even deport them. Just fucking send them to LA. Good luck. Why are you crying?
Why are they crying?
Go get some water or something, retard. What the? I'm glad this is not my life.
And like the Palestinian, like the Free Palestine people have joined in, and like what do they think is gonna happen? Like, I don't.
Wait, what's the flag for ICE out of LA?
I don't know.
I gotta put it in my bio.
Yeah,
I get
true.
left
That's
behind.
true. Yeah. Before we get.
What's in LA, dude?
You're doing a lot, man. Hey, chat. This is wild. Tensions are high. It's like a powder keg 4 years later. Chat. Yeah, tensions still high, dude. Still waiting for things to kick off. Here.
Any second now.
Any minute now, guys. I'm telling you, dude. I've gone through like 48 battery packs trying to keep the stream
is that
live.
Ray Romano? Is Ray Romano working at the
I hope
LAPD
so.
now?
Everybody loves Ray, dude.
Look at that guy.
He's chilling, bro.
Yeah,
He's
you already
like,
made my
he's like,
money.
I
How did
can't
you
wait
know?
to beanbag somebody.
I actually made all my money in Hollywood, but I just wanted to shoot beanbags.
Oh my gosh, where's my here? Like, let's see.
Oh my
Look
god!
at Hassan Piker's stupid ass, dude.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. That's why it's always like the left, like legitimately out there protesting, is because they're the party of virtue.
Get some of the. Let's see, make sure this is like legible on.
Snobby, Jesus Christ! And of course they go
I
out
know,
there wearing
such a.
scarves.
My goal with the UCLA student in campus is to show you how different the reality on the LA protest is. Feels chaotic from afar, but the protesters are neighbor. Red is ice. What? A threat to who? To who? Who are they a threat to? The illegals? Yes. They are a threat then. You're going home. You're going home. You're not staying, dude. You're oh yeah, and then like the FBAs were like the FBAs were posting on Twitter and they were like, we're sitting this one out. I was like, you should be. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? We can get into it with the FBAs, but I got a lot more respect for FBAs who, like, you know, they did to some degree. It's not to the degree that they think they built the country, but they did help build the country. You know what I mean? They were here from the ground up. They got a little slice of the pie, you know, so to speak. We can figure things out with the FBAs, but no, the immigrants gotta go, dude. The illegal immigrants gotta go. All the foreign immigration has to stop for like 15 years.
It's
all
like
of it.
the pseudo rivalry between enlisted and officer in the military. Like, you know, enlisted. Well, it's really just the enlisted people that do this. Like they try to hype themselves up and tell themselves that they're like way more important than the officers.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you fucking retard. You're cannon fodder if that officer doesn't fucking do his homework right. That officer is the most important person around you. Hands down, no questions asked.
They're such
They
idiots,
are
dude.
operating on so many more dimensions than 90% of the 30 point ASVAB waiver people could even conceive of. So there's no debate whatsoever. So like, yeah, you're in there doing the legwork, but you're certainly not in there doing the planning. You're not operating at that level, hands down. So, I mean, yeah, you were a part of it, you know, but A, it's not because you wanted to be, and B, you weren't doing the planning, you weren't doing the conception and all that stuff. And the creative parts, you weren't doing any of that.
Oh yeah, what did Trump say? I didn't get to see.
Oh my God.
Should he do it?
Hell yeah.
Gavin crying on Twitter is amazing.
I like Gavin Newsom. He's a nice guy, but he's grossly incompetent. Everybody knows. All you have to do is look at the little railroad he's building. It's about 100 times over budget. We're putting a flagpole over there. Under budget. I always do under budget.
Hey.
Are they people ISIS trying to deport, or are they professional agitators? The people that are causing the problem are professional agitators. They're insurrectionists. They're bad people. They should be in jail. Thank you.
Hell yeah, dude.
The presence of mind to call them insurrectionists.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, based on the definition, I mean, even based on I think I grokked this. Like, based on even like the quick AI definition or whatever. Let me see what it said before. It's in my history. I looked it up earlier.
Well, I mean, by they're...
Because I was just like, what is it? An insurrection is typically defined as a violent uprising or organized rebellion against an established government or authority, often with the intent to overthrow or undermine it. That's pretty clear, dude. Like, and a lot of the leftist definitions that they were using fall right into that, like squarely into that category when they were trying to call out like January 6th protesters or whatever. And that was another funny thing that I saw going all over Twitter. They were like, oh, yeah, because people were saying, obviously, right-wingers were saying, treat them like they treated J6ers. And then somebody, you know, quote tweeted it. And I knew this was coming. Somebody quote tweeted it and was like, oh, what? Give them a pardon? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure, I'm fine with that. But first, harass them for 3 years straight and imprison them, confiscate all of their computers and laptops and cell phones, take all their property, never give it back, and put them in jail without due process for like 3 years. And then you can pardon them. Sure, that's fine. But put them through the exact same shit they put J6ers through.
No, they don't get pardoned unless they win the election. That's the deal.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but I'm just like, yeah, just for the sake of like, you know, making the point. Sure, go ahead. And look at the kind of shit that they're posting too. Tip to anyone protesting in LA: if you see a National Guard soldier with this patch, it means the job they have in the army is basically park ranger. They have very little training and can be considered soft targets.
Yes, that's so true.
Yeah, and then look at this one. Also, if you see guys wearing this patch, they're electricians.
So that is your entry point. Okay, you want to break the line. That's where you start.
Oh god, dude.
Send your best. Actually, don't send your best. Save them until you break the line.
Skin. You're running us over. You're shooting us all because of the color of our skin.
Oh my God.
All because we have culture. We brought it here, and we are who we are, and we love it here, and we help.
You're crying
we
because
help
you know that's
people
bullshit.
here. That's what we're known for. We help people.
What there's something missing here. The key reason.
And yeah,
it's because you're illegal. If you're just illegal, dude, you can be nice and great. You might be a great person. You're still here illegally.
We're getting terrorized. We're going through this. Our families are being, our babies are literally being ripped from our hands.
No.
If someone could please tell me
You're
if
just
there's
getting
something
deported.
we can do.
Yeah, actually, there is something you can do. You can fucking go home, dude. Actually,
you could go home. You could plan ahead.
Hey, I got a crazy idea here. You could just fucking go home. Actually, wild idea. I don't know. It could work.
Something we could do to help our people. Please
Oh,
just
I know what
imagine
you
yourself.
Yeah.
So you can plan ahead. Like you can come up with a plan,
Mhm.
and then while you're coming up with that plan, you can look into what's legal and not legal, so that way you don't fucking end up in a situation like this.
Yeah. Part of the plan should probably also include going home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In our situation, imagine your people are being terrorized. They're being ran over. If you literally cannot have empathy for someone, I don't know what to tell you. You're an evil ass human being.
I'm an evil ass human being.
You have no heart. And hell, there's a special place in hell for you.
Right.
Karma is real, and God will take care of them. This is.
Yeah, he's gonna.
No,
take him.
this
He's
is
gonna
karma.
take him. Yeah,
This
he's
is
gonna
karma,
take him
karma,
home.
yeah.
Actually, yeah. I mean, karma is a bitch. I mean, don't break the law. You know.
So heartbreaking. I don't know what we could do to help. I feel so helpless. I just.
He keeps asking this. You know what I mean? Like, you could
I just thought we could just come here for free.
You could go home.
Want to help with something. I just want this to end. I just want there to be peace like there was. There was peace. I just want that. That's all I want for us.
This is the reason why she's upset is because deep down she is part of some kind of like subconscious racial aspiring racial hegemony. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh God, I had the chat
That's why
covered
she's
up.
upset. She doesn't care about America. She doesn't care about whether it's illegal or not illegal. She cares about her preferred race of people doing whatever they want whenever they want.
Right. LA about the boys deporting illegal ICE coming for you from LA. Give him a pardon when the next Democrat wins. Yeah, that's what. Yeah. Let's see what this guy said. I saw this earlier, but I didn't get to watch it. I was just like spamming these into like bookmark folders so I could like watch them later.
Get this straight, just so I could clarify it.
It should.
You don't want to go back to Mexico. You're protesting to stay away from Mexico. But you're waving the Mexican flag and you're waving it with pride. You're waving it in the United States, the country you're trying to stay in, the country you don't want to leave. But yet you're waving the Mexican flag with pride. Okay.
It's a racial.
That seems normal to you? That seems logical? That's not stupid at all? None of that's stupid. All right. You guys are an embarrassment to the Mexican culture and to the United States culture. You guys are an embarrassment to everybody around.
He can stay.
They need to. They should arrest Gavin Newsom. Okay? They should arrest him, and they should charge him with a felony, and then Trump should pardon him. That way, whenever Gavin Newsom runs, everybody on the right can posture about it. Like, oh, you guys are going to vote for a felon?
Yeah.
That's all I want. That's all I want out of this.
Yeah, I'm actually fine with us just same.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not, we're just not playing the same game. We're just
Fuck it, dude. Commodus, this bitch.
oh. He's lucky he had his helmet on. I thought he didn't have his helmet on at first. Or he kind of does.
God.
He gets.
Oh, he got fucked. Oh. Fuck yeah.
Are they serious?
Yeah, bro.
Oh my god, he got fucked. Oh, he's fucked.
Okay, I think I agree with Gavin. They didn't need to send the National Guard in.
Yeah, this is fine.
Yeah,
they totally have this under control. Yeah, and then the Mexican president. Did you see the Mexican president saying something about this?
LAPD or ICE under the bridge?
That's LAPD.
Do they not teach strategy in California?
No,
Who
they
the
have.
fuck takes
They
the logo?
clearly they have this under control. Sir.
Wow.
Yeah, this is Highway Patrol. Yeah.
I'm not a U.S. citizen then. I'm not a U.S. citizen.
This
Deport me.
is cracking me up, dude. Like you didn't even need no context needed. Somebody just posted this. Somebody just posted this to Twitter.
This city was once the jewel of our kingdom, a place of light and beauty and music, and so it shall be once more. And the armies of Mordor know this. Never again will the land of my people fall into enemy hands. The city of Ascalon has been reclaimed for
For all of Middle Earth. The true citizen test. Do you cheer for Team USA or wherever you came from whenever they post soccer? Yeah, true. I'm kind of over it, dude. Like, you're here, dude. And, like, we have, like, whenever people come here and, like, they play, like, they'll play, like, a year for, like, the U.S. team and they'll, like, switch and they'll go, like, play for Japan. Dude, you just get one. If you try to switch your teams after that, you should just be banned from the Olympics. Like, there's no team jumping.
Look at that Toyota Hilux.
This is driving around L.A. in 1951.
No fucking computers in the cars.
I don't even know if this is probably AI.
That's machinery. It probably is. No, that sign actually says free does. It looks right. And Central of America. Wait, Central of America. That English looks good. Can't make out the one on the left. Market. That's clear. So the words are clear.
There's no hallucinations.
Fox, Layeds, reading. Yeah, that's real words. You start seeing hieroglyphics, then
yeah, it's hallucinating.
Look at that Toyota Hilux, bro. Oh, this truck. I want that truck, man. Why don't we make cars like this anymore?
That's what I'm saying, dude. We're just crossing the street safely. Let them keep going until 2036. Carnation milk. That's they make the little condensed milk, dude. Where's the junkie homeless? Yeah, this ain't LA. Yeah.
What street are they on though? This looks like
I don't know. I've never been to it.
that landscaping, bro. Clean. Little squares.
Based, dude. So based.
Because of cafe.
They don't make cars like that because of cafe standards. What?
I can't tell. I would think it is though.
Times, man.
We almost watched an accident, bro. Somebody was spacing out. They were on their cell phone. The guy in the
Have cell phones.
No, he was on his cell phone.
Shapeshifter.
Jesus.
The horror. The hell is Max has been here 10 years.
Fucking Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, I just.
Oh my God.
The hell
Why
is
are you
guy?
doing this,
Come after
Gavin?
me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy.
What?
You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing?
Bro.
These guys need to grow up. They need to
What are
stop.
you doing?
And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom,
I'm sorry to be so clear. How
Let's
long
go.
have you been doing
What?
politics?
So he's calling for them to push back? Like what? I don't even know what he's saying. Like he wasn't clear actually. He was kind of like signaling a little bit. Like what? Wait, what community do you care about? The legal or the illegal community? I don't know, because I'm sure there's plenty of people that are voting for you that are like, hey, I don't like this. I think they should be deported.
I mean,
This
all
isn't
the
from
hype-
this isn't from the LA protest, but this is just a classic, dude.
But all the hype all the hype for Gavin Newsom to be the presidential frontrunner, right? Democrats lost the election on illegal one of the main things, illegal immigration. They lost on that, like very clearly. Now here he is taking the wrong side of the argument, and he's supposed to be the hype. You know, the hype is sort of concentrating towards him to run for president. Like, what are you doing, bro? Just fucking own it. You suck. Your city sucks. Your state sucks. Your stance on immigration sucks. Just be like, yeah, fuck these people, dude. You'd be like, he'd be a shoo-in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck these illegal immigrants. We're gonna let ICE in. Just fucking let them.
Yeah, he would have a good platform
hard
to
is
run.
it?
Yeah.
How hard? Like, but it's like they can't help themselves, dude.
That's
They
why
have to
it
destroy
just
themselves.
seems like I don't even know anymore. It seems sinister, dude. Like I don't understand.
evil.
I think you literally want the country to fall apart.
Yeah.
I think Democrats and probably some Republicans too. I think there's a lot of accelerationists today, like on both sides, and they just want to see the place burn because they just think that they're going to be able to like come out on top. They think they're going to be the ones standing, you know, after the ashes fall.
Yep.
You people are fucking psychopaths, actually.
Whatever it takes to bring about subjective utopia.
Yeah. Oh, this is So this is not from this protest, but
Oh,
classic.
yeah. I think I've seen this before.
I love this. Yeah.
I'm right here.
I'm right here.
His shirt says
Banger, dude.
"False."
Banger. And then he rips it down on the red. Classic.
That's what your dumbass kid.
Yeah. That's what your dumb ass get.
Classic. Yeah. Yeah, that's what that other guy was saying. It's so bizarre to like you openly admit like you're running from this country to come here, but you're gonna wave the and it still has the creases in it. Like these guys just went and ordered Mexican flags on Amazon, dude. Like, what are we talking about? And it's all for this. It's all for these stupid fucking photo ops. Like, dude, this is 100% like a George Soros funded, protest, just like the BLM shit was. Whoever these players are, George Soros and the likes. Oh my God, dude, what was that? All these big protesters or backers. All the same like game plan or playbook.
Hyped up on seltzer beer once again, and now it's running through his veins, giving him the liquid courage to act so stunning and so great. But oh yeah, he's an instant calm, and finds out real quickly the meaning of all lives splatter and your life doesn't matter.
Yeah, I love this.
What the hell was he thinking? That's right, he wasn't thinking at all. All he had was seltzer beer running through his veins, thinking he's gonna be a badass going the police, but instead, oh yeah, jazz. It's like he disappeared into thin air, and legend has it that he got Thanos and turned into dust particles. For that reason, we now throw it to Ludacris.
I love that he just keeps going too.
I know.
He keeps recycling it and milking it.
Yeah, Steve Inman's funny.
Before you guys showed up, screwed up everything. We don't agree with the term illegal. We're undocumented. We've been here for thousands of years. Before you guys showed up, screwed up everything. We think we should organize together with the U.S. working class and fight together and create a better system. We're anti-capitalist. We think socialism does work, real socialism, not Venezuela, not Cuba, not any of that crap that they try to sell us as socialism. And we believe it would be a more humane system that will take care of most of all people's necessities.
Is there a country we can look to kind of model the socialism idea?
The only model would be Soviet Union the first 4 years.
After that, there's no way this is real. This has to be a bit or something.
Wow.
I
mean,
the first
the
Soviet Union.
He actually embodied like the entire Democrat argument for illegal immigration and for stopping, for just letting these people in here. Like he actually just proved everyone's point.
People are crazy, bro. They're crazy people. I don't know what else to say.
It became a mess. Sadly, there was a bureaucrat leadership that grew out of that. But it has to do mainly with the attacks of the U.S. and all big powers.
What is that,
against that
dude?
system?
What
That system that will big.
What the
big powers against that system that was working. In the few years that it lasted, it showed the world that it could do much better than capitalism.
There's no. Isn't that a YouTube guy? This other guy interviewing him? I feel like he's a comedian. I think that's IDub.
I
think that's like.
Well, I mean, is that not him that?
And fight together and create a better system. We're anti-capitalist. We think socialism does work, real socialism, not Venezuela, not Cuba, not any of that.
He's anti-capitalist.
Has to be, dude.
You're anti-capitalist. What did you come to the U.S. for? It's a capitalist country. What are you doing here? Why would you come here? Why would you illegally immigrate here? You're anti-capitalist.
I've got it. Way. Yes, the video appears to be authentic based on context provided. Nice. That's crazy. That's not like a bit. That's actually people are. Hey, we're talking real socialism, guys. Bet it's polyamorous. What? What's happening?
What is this bullshit about? Oh my god. What? They shoot him with gas?
He was getting fucking lit up, dude. Lethal round. They're basically just paintball.
Let's go home.
He got fucking wrecked, dude. They're like pepper balls and stuff they have too.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is obviously just like people that they don't have anything in life.
That's what I'm like where, and I saw this floating around and I don't know how real it is.
Like, how boring is your life, right?
How do you have the time?
That like, well, yeah, that and how boring is your life that, the only thing that gets you sort of charged is when somebody's enforcing laws. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's what gets you out of the house? Like, you don't have anything else to be doing with all this time but running around in the street.
Dude, I
yelling
hope
the
it hurt
same
loose.
bullshit for like 8 hours a day. Like, how many times are you going to say it? It's so fucking stupid.
There was like a Craigslist. It was basically one of these.
Oh, and they were trying to recruit people to go protest. Yeah.
See that one?
Not surprising. No, but it's not surprising at all.
Yeah, here it is.
Oh my god. All right, looking for the top rate career building conversation. What?
Yeah, this is what was throwing me. I was like $6,500 to $12,000 a week. He's crazy. Leonardo Johnny posted and says, "Sorry guys, I'm joining the Mexican."
Well, that's obviously a scam, bro. Job title operator, seeking extremely tough, brave men. Nothing about the actual skills and experience they need. No experience
but
required. Obviously a scam.
Also, you can't say any. You're not going to be able to post anything like too obvious on like a main platform. If I had to guess, I assume you contact these people and then they get you in like a signal chat or something. And then they probably tell you it's like $650.
Yeah.
12,000 or whatever the fuck. And then you probably just do it anyways. It's for the movement, bro.
But you know what? That money goes to nowhere in Los Angeles. That's the fun of it.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. And then they steal from the city anyway, so everything just gets worse. God, people are lunatic. What's out of control is how ICE can come. And not ICE kidnapping people, you're on the wrong side. Like, what? I don't want to pay. I pay taxes. I pay a lot of fucking tax. I don't like the idea that my tax money goes to feeding and housing people that are here illegally.
Yeah, what about your
Like,
kids?
what are we talking about, dude? You have to
God.
go home, bro. You have to get the fuck out of here. Yeah, this was crazy too. I didn't get to see.
Because his mother had died. My father, as the one processing the paperwork, put my grandmother down as his mother. And so I am illegal in this country. My parents
Get her
are
out.
illegal here.
That's what I'm saying.
Because his mother had died.
Get her out, dude.
Poor. How is
somebody
she a state
posted
rep?
this. Damn, somebody posted this earlier, and I don't know if it was real or Photoshop, but JD Vance, there was like, JD Vance has the opportunity to do like the funniest thing ever, and then JD Vance responded to it with like a meme. Like,
Bro, but
like,
you know
go
what?
get her.
Somebody like her that has the audacity to run for office when she's not even got her fucking paperwork in order. You know what I'm saying? Should
Yeah.
not just get deported. She should be put in jail. You know what I mean? She should be put in a fucking labor camp. That's so disgusting, dude.
Yeah, I don't know how real this is. As a Marine, I swore an oath to defend this country.
Oh Jesus, this guy's such a
Tragically, in this case, the threat appears to be fostered by our own government. It's just the whole thing just kind of seemed a little bit like a fake.
Well,
like a lot of
they start with as a Marine,
yeah,
or as of this, as of that,
yeah,
you know, there's some bullshit coming.
Yeah, bad about
Because the left is the king of credential actualization, right? So instead of just posting their argument because it's robust and stands on its own, they got to start with some kind of identity. Oh, as a Marine, as a gay guy,
and they possibly go to work when they're insurrecting to do. Yeah, that's true.
as a 9-to-5
Guys,
worker. For
hey, boss, I got to call in this week. Look, there's a lot of rioting and protesting to do. I need some new shoes. I need a new Gucci bag. I need a new cell phone. We're trying to raid the T-Mobile
my country
tonight.
needs me.
Like, listen, dude. Me and the boys are deporting some more MS-13. Yeah, this is crazy. Like, dude, Anonymous is they're such losers, dude. What happened to Anonymous, bro?
So much
or would I just like am I just misremembering? Like, I thought Anonymous was like cool.
They
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know they were like fucking Civnats, like magic dirt theory.
Oh.
And they're like, "Did you vote for this?" Yes, actually, I did.
I actually feel like I'm getting shortchanged. They're not being harsh enough.
They're not deporting enough, dude.
Like,
The numbers are behind.
The center of the earth. Yeah.
As a Cajun, Mexican food is overrated. Dude, who said that? Who posted that? That shit was so good. It was like Mexican food, all Mexican food. Yeah, it was Matt Walsh. And it was just like all Mexican food is just a taco in different forms.
Mexican food is the only reason I didn't leave. Mexican food is the only reason I didn't leave the United States when Trump got elected.
Dude, it was so funny.
Was it for Mexican food, I'd be in Ireland too.
Oh my. Oh yeah, here we go. This is your worst. Oh, dude, this is. Oh, come on, dude. Where's the original one? Keep getting the replies. Okay, here we go. Every Mexican dish is just a taco in slightly different form. The most redundant and least diverse cuisine on the planet. Time to be honest about it. I never thought about it, but I was like, dude, it's true. I mean, it's good, but that's totally true.
It's gonna be totally redundant unless you're like a fucking chef.
Yeah.
You know.
It's just good point.
Oh my god.
Gavin Newsom did less than that. Good. He had to do the same. He had to do this. They made him do the same thing whenever it was
dude,
Summer of Love, dude. It was like they literally refused to prosecute. They were letting people back out on the streets. He's seen it before. Just fucking, yeah, just send them, dude. Put the
I'm for it.
put the city under martial law, dude. I'm here
Make-
for it. I don't actually care.
Literally, just make Trump dictator, make him king. Don't give a fuck.
And
Don't
Anonymous
really
was
don't
always
care.
a bunch of V for Vendetta LARPers. Yeah, probably. I just remember them when I was younger, so I don't really know actually. When they were relevant, I was like in middle school, high school. And then it's just like they just disappeared.
I feel like their agenda led them to release and post stuff and hack stuff that just so happened to have value and seem somewhat neutral. You know what I'm saying? But like
Yeah.
they probably are just they were always just like Lolberts, like a bunch of Chase Olivers.
Yeah. Any food culture that relies heavily on spice is attempting to cover the flavor of spoiled meat. Is that just kind of true though? Like, the more I learned about like cooking, the more I cooked, the more I started to realize that like all the vegetables that are put into like certain dishes seem to be like strategically placed there to mask like mistakes that are easy to make with those dishes, like when they put onions in like crab cakes and stuff like that. Well, because shells and shit can get in there and like different things like that. Like it adds to the flavor too, but it serves like another purpose too. There is actually, I think, some truth.
Bro, can you imagine being Doug Emhoff and your daughter is just out here like and she's retarded? That sucks.
Sucked.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is crazy too. The one where the protester, like they were sharing this picture of like, oh, this baby got hit with tear gas at the protest. I was just like,
brought your baby to
why
a
are you
protest,
fucking
psycho?
Yeah, why are you bringing your child to this? You fucking idiot, dude.
What the hell's wrong with you?
It's literally Hamas tactics, right? Like this is what the Israelis always complain about.
Bro,
They're hiding behind the fucking babies. Like they're literally doing it. They're bringing babies to fucking riots and then crying whenever they get hit with fucking tear gas and balls. Like, dude,
everybody that can see that should be put in jail with the parents. Fucking just delete everybody. What the hell are you thinking? You're so stupid and you're so radicalized. You're gonna bring your fucking 1 or 2 year old child to a protest, knowing the risks.
I can't imagine. Yeah, I mean, like I wouldn't even go like to this kind of stuff,
No.
like because
You
I
kidding?
have kids, because like I can't afford to have something happen to me.
Exactly.
So,
like, what are you?
but then to
thinking,
go
people?
yourself and bring your kids is just like a next level.
These people just need to be jettisoned into space.
Yeah, this is why that LA scanner guy was like doxing him. And then they
Wow.
doxed him back.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why he was crying. And he looks just like you would expect these people to. There's like
Well,
a
I mean,
phenotype, dude.
I've been dealing with this a lot on X. Like I've seen this argument so much. What is this bullshit on the internet? Like, what is it really when people dox, right? When people threaten you and they say, "Oh, you're saying that, show your identity." Like, what is that really, bro? It's a substitute for violence IRL, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no option on the internet to punch somebody in the face, right? And these people, that's all they know. They get triggered, they hear something they don't like, they get criticized, whatever. And then when they hear that IRL, they're like, "Oh, what do I do now? Oh, I gotta fight. I gotta punch somebody in the face. They can't criticize me." You know what I mean? And then on the internet, they're like, "Oh, I can't hear that. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Gotta go after this person. Gotta try and ruin their life. Yeah, I have to retaliate." You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't criticize me. If you criticize me, there's going to be retaliation. What is that, dude? Just have the discussion. You don't like it, you don't like it.
Yeah, that's what, and all of that was just to get people to shut up too. It's just
Yeah,
talking about.
that's
Yeah,
not.
I'm gonna
work.
tell your boss. I'm gonna dox you. I'm gonna harass
All
you.
right, I gotta run. I gotta help Abby with something.
All right, here, look at this before you go. I gotta go too, but.
I'm calling Trump on you, you
I saw
illegal
this,
motherfucker. I'm calling Trump on you, you illegal motherfucker.
motherfucking Chevy Impala, bitch.
Not a Nissan Altima today, but
It's the
this
same
is
car,
effective.
bro. The same energy, dude.
Probably I may what?
All right, man. See ya.
Man. All right, later, dude. Classic, dude. Man, oh man. Yeah, it's getting crazy out here.
Police have just fired.
Over a flag. I took my flag and I slapped it on the ground because obviously the state of America. I'm dragging them because they're dragging us. And over a flag,
Who is us? Like, are you illegal? Is there something you want to tell us?
I'm here because there's
like...
people that can't be here. And I'm with.
Well, they can't be here because they're illegal. Because they're not citizens.
Willing to endure that. If a U.S. citizen has to endure that for every human to get rights.
Can you just tell me the feeling?
What do they think happens? Like, let's say we just decided to call their bluff and we were just like, okay, every human on the planet has rights, has American rights, and they're just allowed now. They just all have citizenship. Oh, by the way, the country's going to be bankrupt in 3 days. Like, what do you think they would actually do? Like, do you think they would change their minds? Like, I wondered, would they change their minds or change their position at all? Or would they just be like, it's the right thing to do. Like, we should go bankrupt for them because it's the right thing to do. Like, I don't, like, none of these people have actually thought this through.
Among Angelinos here.
I'm born and raised here. I'm 24 years old. I'm
So then you're fine, dude.
young. I know there's people here younger, older than me. It's immigrants built this city. There's no denying that. And when they're trying to take that out, it's not okay. It's just not okay.
But you didn't say anything. Oh yeah, this is funny. They were like taking this whole video out of context and clipping this, like, stomping on his. Actually, this guy had just tried to start a fire to stop the mounted police or whatever, and they and then he couldn't get away fast enough, and the. Oh yeah, see, and then also they made it seem like, oh, the horses are kicking him in the head. I forgot. Literally a firework explodes beside the fucking horse, so it spooks it, and it turns around. Like, yeah. Yeah, the horses are like running on them. These people are lunatics. Yeah, and this stuff supposedly starting in. You don't speak English. You have to go home. Yeah, we're gonna deport you. You gotta go home. Yeah, you're all going home. People, dude. Crazy. Living in garbage, man. Yeah, even when that reporter got shot too, I think the way they do it, like they don't just start shooting. They give them like, because I went through this whenever I went to some of like the MAGA rallies and stuff like that, and they were like trying to keep the peace, keep split up Antifa and the reporters or whatever. Like when they're about to move crowds or they're about to move their position, they give you a lot of warning, and they like tell you like. They're like telling you like that you need to clear out of the way. Nobody needs to be in the street. Blah blah blah. We're gonna be moving soon. Whatever. They're like a 10-minute heads up. And then if you're still in the street, or if you start walking back up when they're about to get ready to move, then they're gonna start pelting you. Start sending bean bags and less lethals your way. I don't keep it up till they figure it out. That's the thing. I don't think they're gonna get tuckered out. These people are getting paid somehow. Somehow these people are making a living doing this. I don't understand how they have the support to do it. Honest. I don't understand.
Can I get a new pair of shoes too? I'm not doing shit. Yo, grab me a shirt. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
There's a circus music playing in the background. Just cherry on top,
Hey, let
dude.
me just get a shirt up in here, dog.
What is this doing for illegal immigrants? How does this further the cause?
Hey, whoa, bike.
This is what it's really all about. Like it's. How does anyone want to have like who puts a business here anymore? Answering your question, what would they do if we gave all the world citizenship and the U.S. goes bankrupt in 3 days? Nothing. They would do nothing. What can you do? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like either they would just double down and be like, well, then the country was never meant to be, and they would just like let it all rot. Or yeah, they would just continue to ask like how they can be helped. Yeah, I don't know. Crazy. I mean, yeah, it's already going bankrupt. I'm just saying, if we were to literally just call these people's bluff and just invite everybody, what do you think they would even do? Like they wouldn't know. It'd be like if you know what I mean? Like when the dog finally catches the car and they just like panic. Would love to see. Just for the sake of the reaction when they realize it by like and just pieced up by like Russia and China. Oh, by the way, we made everybody in the world a citizen, and they all have rights, and so now China and Russia are actually just going to take pieces because we don't have any money left and we can't pay our military. Sorry, guys, but hey, at least we made everybody citizens. Rights.
Order will be restored, the president writing. The illegals will be expelled and Los Angeles will be set free. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So obviously some provocation here from the president in several facets. As we see, here we go. Those demonstrations.
Arrest. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. I'm just starting, so I'm like mine are 2 and less than months. So yeah, I mean, but then you have more. Then they have babies. You're just like it never ends. Like I don't understand how these people have I don't get it, dude. It doesn't. I don't understand how these people have. Some of them have children, and they still hold these like insane positions. That's the part. That part makes less sense because I feel like having children radicalize me, honestly, in a good way. Like, we take the world, take everything a little bit more seriously. Like, I thought I was taking things seriously, but not more going on or whatever. I don't know how to explain it. They would be living in literal garbage, yeah. No, you guys are you guys are you guys are breaking the law to protect the people that are breaking the law. We're trying to send home because they're here illegally, breaking the law, and you're forcing the hand of the current administration to like. You're like, this is Trump's America. I don't know, dude. Enjoyed helping engineers off and on for 18 or more years. Yeah, based. Of course, you don't get it. They realize there's no free lunch and they don't. Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Like, and it's like prison rules too. Like that's it is kind of like that. Like these people are so like they're basically willing to hand over their like your freedom that you get in America. They'd rather just like turn that into the government. Like, actually, I don't really want this. You take this and just tell me what to do. I'd rather just do that. I'm not comfortable with this much responsibility because if you have the free choice and the free will, then that means ultimately you're responsible for your outcomes. But they don't want to be responsible for their own outcomes. They want somebody to blame. So they're like, actually, I'll give this back to you, to the government. You just become all powerful and tell me exactly what to do, because that's easy. Which is funny because it's like I'm not necessarily all in on like the current structure of government per se. Like I don't necessarily know if this level of freedom is good, but it's a different. I arrived there in very different ways. These people are terrified of the responsibility. I'm fine having either. I just think there may be better, options or something like that. Ultimately, I think it's the fabric, that underpins this, what the culture is based off of. But these people are just terrified of being responsible for their own.
Are they being pushed or no?
But yeah, it's like you don't want to take a favor from somebody in prison, or from the mob or something like that, because it means that now they have power over you. So. Try your mic. You think then mic needs to be louder? It's showing on the screen like it's peaking or something. I gotta get a better mic anyways. I had a better one, but I sold it like, I don't know, 2 years ago or whatever. Sold some of my streaming stuff because I was just like not doing anything. I knew I wasn't gonna be doing anything for like a couple years. 10% more on the Dex. And think you will. What? Oh, grow your audience. Yeah. Yeah, I did this a while back, like off and on. Let me see if I can increase it by like 10%. See if that helps. I also have this stuff really low right now. But yeah, I used to stream a lot more frequently. And then I had children. And I have a real job that I enjoy. And I've always done this as kind of like a hobby, but I was doing gaming and stuff mostly before, and then I did a little bit of streaming, and then like politics stuff. I did like some of these debate panels, some of these like bigger debate panels and stuff, and then I just got more like involved in helping organize the stuff, like panels and stuff. Helped with like Andrew Wilson's. He did an arena. He did like a panel show for a little bit. I was just kind of like working and kind of helping behind the scenes with him and maybe another panels. But yeah, dude, having children will take you out of the game. For some reason, both your camera and your secondary video are a little late. Oh, well, yeah, probably. I don't have it all dialed in right now either. I also haven't, like, tweaked any of the stream stuff right now. I literally just, like, threw together a scene in OBS, and I don't have any of my old scenes. I don't know what happened. I've got to kind of tweak all the audio. You know what? Sometimes when the mic is disconnected. Hello? Oh wait, hold on, that's the wrong one. Here's the microphone. Here we go. Mic check, hello? That should be better. I also have a sound gate on too. That may have just done a lot. Now it seems like it's peaking. And you're terrible at Rocket League. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I'm washed now. I used to be goated at Rocket League, but no, now I'm just trash. Yeah, that should be better. I just can't tell from the bars in here. Like when I'm talking right now, it's like jumping up into the red constantly, and then it's like peaking, which should mean the audio cuts out completely. So I didn't want to crank it too high and have it cut out. But I'm also talking a little soft too, so I don't know. I don't know. I just know I need to get I know the mic I'm going to probably get again. Probably the same one I had before, so. Yeah, this is just like something I got. This is actually for doing like IRL streams. I had this when I bought this when I went to go to January 6th and MAGA Million MAGA March and whatever else, like doing IRL streams or whatever. But yeah, we're getting back into it. Live show is going to be every Wednesday, and then I'm going to start clipping up some content. Probably going back through some of my old VODs too, and putting together some funny clips and stuff like that, and putting them out on YouTube. I think I'm going to have to stream to a different YouTube channel though. I've already made the channel, but I can't go live for 24 hours, so I couldn't do it tonight. But I'm gonna restream to like double YouTube channels because I know this one got like heavily shadow banned whenever I was in DC for Million MAGA March and all that stuff, because they literally pulled some of my live streams while I was live. So pretty gay. But anyways, we're probably gonna call it a night. I gotta go to bed, and then we'll be back Wednesday. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'd rather just stream to Rumble too, but I know YouTube is good for growth, so we'll stream to YouTube. I might end up doing like a live stream to YouTube only, and then I'll like private and then clip it up. Maybe put some clips on YouTube and then keep all the like library on Rumble and on Twitter, just because I don't know. I don't like YouTube very much. It's good for making money apparently, like the dollar amount per views or whatever. But at the same time, I just hate supporting them, man, because they're still creepy little overlords about their content. We're working on it. We're working on resurrecting the arena. We're trying to see how it plays out. Either it's gonna go back onto Andrew's show, or I'm gonna come back, bring back like the American Octagon or like the panel show that I was doing before, and just do one like once a month or something like that. Because if you do them too much, they get played out. Get tired. Yeah, I've got Kick. I've got a YouTube page. I mean, a Facebook page now. Even though same thing. I don't really care for either of those platforms, but I've even got a TikTok too. So, unfortunately, and I'm gonna get an Instagram up. So, we'll see how many platforms I can restream to at once. I think it treats it differently though too. Whenever you do a restream, it kind of degrades the views or something like that somehow in the algorithm. I'm not sure about that. I have to research that. I heard that before, but I don't actually know. All right, we're gonna leave these retards to protest another day. I'm gonna go to bed. Yeah, Rumble would probably be the best for me. I'd probably want to be on there. Yeah, that's what I think too. Once a month, perfect for like the panels. It doesn't get too old, doing it over and over. And you could kind of do it sporadically. Like, it doesn't have to be exactly once a month, but you need to have at least a good 30 days or something in between. At least a good couple weeks, like 2-3 weeks. But obviously, if the content is there, or there's just like these protests and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Stuff like this is going on, then obviously there's probably plenty to argue about. But anyways, I'm going to call it a night. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see y'all Wednesday at 9:30 Eastern. Oh, and I might be going on this guy's show, Ryan Can TV. We've been mutuals on Twitter for a while. So, anyways, we'll see y'all Wednesday. Peace.